a state baseball champion for the state of Kentucky. All hit out. Leading to the second, and he's out as he goes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kentuckiana Travel Ball Podcast. We are so excited to be back. Season number 2. We are live at the St. X Trinity game, number 1 versus number 2. Let's go, Rick.
Man, you couldn't order a better weather or a better environment. I mean, this place is packed.
Pretty exciting, man. And listen, a lot of talent on this field. A lot of kids coming up through the travel ball circuit. We're going to talk about these kids. We're going to highlight what they're doing in their college careers and beyond. Our goal is to have a new guest every inning. Our first guest is our fellow coach with the Wolves. You hear us talk about it all the time. Mr. Jason Pierce. What's up, Jason?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, excited for you being here, man. Listen, this is easy. We're just going to be casual, talk a little bit, talk about the game, and talk a little baseball. Obviously, couldn't be a better day.
Couldn't be.
Weather's perfect.
Yeah, there's pro scouts in the stands.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of, I mean, it brought out everybody. If you're not playing baseball or having practice or whatever and you're a baseball person, this is where you're at.
You ought to be. It's funny. So Eli.
And if you're not here, you should be.
Rick's son's over there. He's like, I'm sitting next to the Pirate Scout. He's all jacked up.
I told him to go introduce himself. See you in a couple years,
He
right?
should be handing out cards, man.
That's all right.
I play shortstop.
That's what I was
12U batting 5-something.
All right, we got Ty Stark on the mound for St. X. That's a big kid. How tall is he, Rick?
He is 6'6",
6'6".
listed in the program.
We're going to have to find somebody here with a radar gun to figure out how fast he's throwing that.
Oh, there's tons of people here with a radar gun.
That looks pretty good. We're right behind the plate, so we got a pretty good view and see what this ball's doing.
Yeah, it says it's about 90. His fastball gets up in the 90s.
Ooh, there we go. Brady Willis is leading off for the Trinity Shamrocks, QB number 1.
I don't know. I think the nerves, man. 3-0 count out the gate.
Hey, I tell you what, Brady's fast. He's an athletic kid. He was the quarterback for the football team. Brady's a tough out.
Yeah, all-around great athlete.
Signed to play baseball at Bellarmine.
Nice.
And there we go. Get the strike.
Yeah, you guys have the best seat in the house right here.
You know, it is kind of the best seat in the house. So.
I might have to stay here 4 or 5 innings.
Well, I tell you, I have to thank Aaron Flaker and Coach Torra and St. X for their hospitality. They were gracious to let us come do this, so it's pretty exciting.
All right, so we battled back from a 3-0 count.
Oh.
Missed it.
Got a pop-up, which is what you want.
It's going to come back to haunt him.
We talked about that in the dugout the other day, Jason. I forget what happened. Something happened during one of our games.
We had that third out. It wasn't necessarily a pop-up, but it was a fly ball where actually a couple players could have got it, and we dropped it.
We did drop it.
And then that would have been the third out,
Yeah.
and we could have got out of the inning with 0 runs.
It always bites you.
Never fails.
Never
They
fails.
come out and smoke the ball and score 3 on it.
Bites you every time.
Absolutely.
So let's see what happens. See if he can battle back. Yep, work the walk.
Well,
now, Brady's got some speed. He is a threat to steal here. Let's see if I see stolen bases. He's got 6 on the year. He really doesn't have a great batting average as of right now. He's batting .238 for the year. You got a couple guys, this being one of them, who's hitting .552 for the year, Jason. .552. You heard that right.
Yeah.
that's amazing at this level.
Isn't it?
It's elite competition in high school.
Yeah. But I tell you, you mentioned the place to be tonight, the atmosphere, the campus here,
Yeah.
everything is just
It's
great.
awesome.
It's a little bit different than what I'm used to.
Yeah, and Jason's a Spencer County guy out there.
Yep.
So Corbin Dickerson's up the bat. Corbin is signed to play for the University of Louisville. So if you're a Card fan, you should see him in the red, white, and black here soon.
Well, if he doesn't get drafted.
If he doesn't get drafted, and listen, there's a lot of talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see, that's trouble. He's got speed.
Safe.
Oh, safe all around. Wow. Not the start you think St. X would probably want here, right?
But hey, he got in there and he hit it hard. I mean, it just happened to be right at him, but he hit it hard.
How many times do we talk about that?
And then what happened? He didn't make a play because he hit
Yeah.
it hard.
Yeah, you just got to put the ball in play. Make the defense work, right? Yeah, if you're a pitcher, that's what you want. Let your defense try to make a play behind you. Don't walk them. See, what the first, they put the guy, they gave a freebie, right?
Yep.
So I talked to Coach Arnold earlier today, and he said, look, if we have 4 errors and 4 walks, we're not going to win this game. So it's all about eliminating the mistakes, making routine plays routine. That should have been a routine one.
Yep. All right. We'll see what their mental fortitude is here, because our 12-year-olds don't seem to handle adversity very
Isn't
well.
that the truth?
You know, oh,
Ooh,
look
nice
at
pitch.
That's a heck of a curveball.
That was a nice one. Yeah, speaking of the middle part of the baseball
Yeah.
game, I've been talking to Teague about it for
Yep.
the last couple of days. It seems like our kids, they're all in a group. They're either all up or they're all down.
All down, yeah.
And it doesn't take much to get them down. So, you know, we're trying to teach them to get ready for the next play.
That's
Get
right.
out the last play and
Just do your best on that next play.
move forward.
Matt Klein's up to bat. Matt Klein is also
He's at Louisville. Right?
he's a Louisville commit. Another guy, he is hitting 550 for the year.
That's not
so
too shabby.
good luck on number 2 and number 3 in that lineup, right?
Yeah.
Golly. And then I tell you, having 2 guys on base, you like that. You like those odds.
Now, this is lefty on lefty, and he that first pitch was I thought that curveball
It was
was
nasty.
straight for his head, and it dropped down right.
It was
Right
nasty.
in for a strike. That was nasty.
You know, and Jason, this is something I'd love to get some opinions of the other travel ball coaches out there. We always talk about, now listen, he threw that first time we saw the curveball. Now he threw it lefty on lefty. Now we always talk about if you are a right-handed pitcher, you don't want to throw a curveball to a left-handed hitter because that's going to curve right into their wheelhouse, right? So we try to avoid that when we're calling pitches.
Right, especially with the basic curve that our kids are throwing.
Right.
It's going to curve right in, and it's happened a couple of times.
Right.
So we try to avoid it. Now,
Ooh, he did it again.
this guy here can probably throw that curve anytime he wants to anybody he wants to.
Hey,
to the lefty.
you know,
man.
That was nasty right there. That was a nasty curveball there
Right.
from start.
Yeah.
Paul Osing. Now, Paul will be the starting pitcher tonight.
He's committed to Bellarmine?
Paul is a Bellarmine commit, correct? It's unbelievable the amount of college players that are playing in this tournament or this game today. Now, Trinity's got 2 guys, right, that have one of them's got 5 at bats and one of them's got 7 at bats, and both of them are D1 commits, and they don't even play this year. Isn't that crazy?
At bats on the year?
On the year,
Wow.
and it's just that's the kind of talent. Touch it foul.
Hard to get on the field, even if you're talented.
but you can tell the difference during warm-ups. And kudos to Rick Arnold because I said he got a good workout out here.
When he was hitting the infield.
Infield.
Yeah.
But the level of talent is impressive. I mean, you can really distinguish the talent out here.
Well, it's number 1 versus number 2, so it ought to be pretty good here. 400 feet to straightaway center,
So St.
375 to the corners.
St. X is number 1, right?
St. X is, yeah, well, it
Trinity's been 1 most of the year.
depends on where you look. Oh, I like that. He was trying to get him to run.
Nice play.
Nice play by third
They got
base.
the force out, lead runner.
The designated hitter, number 32.
Cooper Smith was a nice play over there.
Yep.
You know, and that's what the good teams do. They started out rough, had 2 runners on, but that's where we got to teach our kids, Teague, is, hey, that's not the end of the world. Dig in, get the outs, get ready to bat.
Well, especially when you got somebody who can pitch on the mound, right? Just let your defense play.
So Cooper Smith looks like he's kind of an all-around player. He plays infield, catcher, he pitches. He is committed to Troy University.
Troy University. Actually, Troy's got a really good baseball program.
Rick, you did some scouting, huh?
Well,
I've got the list.
Actually, Aaron Flaker hooked us up here. He gave us some stats, and
Yeah.
he did a good job.
I'm in here not knowing any of these. I
Yeah.
knew one kid. I knew Landon Nate.
And Coach Arnold did the same. He gave me some pre-game material here. Ty Stark on the mound. Boy, that's a big opposing guy on the mound. 6'6", that's tough. The arc that ball comes down.
Right. This is a release point so much higher than a lot of people you're going to see.
He just had a nice inside move there to try to get the second baseman. So this is something else we've been talking a lot about, Jason. So your shortstop is just kind of staying in position. Now, normally we have our short kind of in the back pocket of the guy on second base, and we have him run, and we call it a daylight play, and he runs to second if we want to try to pick there. They're not trying that at all. So they're holding only with their second baseman.
Right.
He's going in and out a little bit.
Because they got a right-handed batter up.
And, and I get that makes sense. And I would assume kind of the older you get. Now, obviously, we're coaching 12. And at 9, 10, 11, 12, it kind of makes sense to do what we're doing. But at this point, once you get into the high school age, I would think that kind of makes sense to hold them with the second base. Now, I was at a Trinity game here not long ago, and you see where the umpire's on this side of the defender, right?
Right.
So he had a ball hit off his foot, and it actually ended up and defensively they got the ball and turned the double play. But because it hit the umpire and he was in front of the defensive player, it was a free base. So all the runners advanced.
You told me about that. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Seems like a crazy rule.
You just aim for the ump.
That's what you said. Might as well aim for the ump every time and hit the ump.
Aiden Ecken up to bat.
But you have to, at the high school level here, you've got to leave that shortstop in the hole with a right-handed batter. And then the second baseman comes.
You would think so, sure.
All right, full count, 2 outs.
Aiden is batting .315 on the year.
On the move.
So we should see the runners go here no matter what, right?
Yep, definitely.
So with a full count,
So, yeah.
2 outs, you're running.
Yeah, single in the gap might score that runner from first. Got some speed. Corbin's definitely scoring.
Yeah, that's a ton of speed there at second.
So they should be taking off.
Yeah, they're going. Immediately.
Foul ball.
Oh, close.
Oh, Coach Arnold doesn't like it.
That's foul.
That was 2 inches from being
Oh, that was 2 runs.
yeah, 2 runs. Nice hit.
Almost.
Yeah, this pitcher's pretty impressive. The size for one, but he's got some good stuff as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That ball's moving. All right, here we go. So Ty Stark, he's the RBI guy, Mark Stark. That's his son, right?
That is his son.
RBI.
Yep.
Head of RBI's organization.
So I would assume he grew up kind of playing that RBI. And I tell you, man, I was looking at the St. X and the Trinity rosters. A lot of kids that played in that RBI organization are on those teams.
Bases loaded. Here we go.
All right, bases loaded for Robbie Reed.
Big at bat here. Real big at bat. Let's see what happens here with Robbie.
Yeah, this is what it's all about, Teague. The stadium's packed. You got
it's
St. X,
standing room only.
equal Trinity.
Fantastic.
It's
I mean, you got
great
student
atmosphere.
sections. I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah.
brought out everybody.
Oh, yeah. Got Alan Hennessy up there in the stands. We just did a video with them over at Trinity.
One of the kids asked where the MLB scout section was. So
It's right next to us.
Oh,
Oh, it's a shot. Oh, right at shortstop. Landon Akers. Well, how about that? Leadoff walk. They missed a little blooper right over the first baseman's head.
Air at
You
third
know,
on a hard hit ball.
It's funny. I tell you what's funny. If my son, who plays first base, would have missed that, I would have been all up in him. You don't realize how mad I would have been on my son if he missed that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, we work with you, play with you every weekend.
Oh, man. He would have been walking home.
But it happened.
There would not have been a conversation going home. It would have been nothing but silence. That would have been tough. All right, let's see what Paulie Osteen can do here on the mound. As we said, he's a Bellarmine commit. It looks like Bellarmine is going to kind of wait and see with him. Not sure if he's going to be a position player. He's a great outfielder and a great hitter, or if he's going to hit, if he's going to pitch as well. Might do both. Kind of a wait and see approach.
He's got good stuff. It's just tends to fall off the rails a little bit.
Yep.
But
He
he's
does
got
have
great
good stuff. He throws kind of high upper 80s as his fastball. He's got a really nice changeup as well. And I tell you, the thing that impresses me about Trinity more than anything is the kid behind the plate. He's an absolute leader. You will hear him the entire game barking orders, telling guys where to go. He is the general on the field, and it's impressive to watch.
And that's what you want out of a catcher. He's got to be the quarterback out there.
He's got to be the quarterback out there. And I tell you, I've seen him say, hey, shake it off. I've seen this is where we're going. It's unbelievable how he directs traffic out there. High IQ player. Will be a stud at Louisville. Hey, if he's anything like the last catcher that came from Trinity, went to Louisville, was Ben Mexinger.
Okay.
Ben was okay. He's doing all right now.
Yeah, just okay.
He's doing okay at the D1 level.
So I got some ideas for warm up before the game.
Well, good.
It looked they were pretty structured out there. I watched Trinity warm up, and that's one of the reasons you come to these games. You kind of see how the big boys do it, right? And then you try to incorporate that in.
Yeah, try to take something away from it.
So Landon Akers is up to bat. Landon is batting .300 on the year. Landon's little brother Mason plays for the J-Town Strike.
He's a 12U kid.
Yeah, 12U in our age division. I would assume Mason's a St. X kid. We'll see. You never know.
They're not committing anywhere yet. So.
Landon is committed where? I know he's committed somewhere.
He's committed to Bellarmine.
Bellarmine.
So
there were a lot of Bellarmine kids on this.
Yep. We're going to join forces in a few years.
Bellarmine's going to be good.
Yeah.
I have honestly really don't know. I know that Rick Arnold's son AJ plays for Bellarmine right now. I don't know how good they are or aren't, but that's going to be impressive.
I think I saw something on Twitter about Bellarmine. They've got the leading. It might have been home run hit. They got somebody who's leading something in some kind of stat.
Higgins. Matt Higgins.
Yeah, Higgins.
Hey, he's a Trinity grad.
Okay, he's doing something amazing. I can't remember. I can't exactly remember what it is.
Yeah, he's a Trinity grad. Rick said
he's tearing it
he
up.
falls out of bed and hits.
That's a good problem to have.
It
right?
is.
Wow, that looked like a good pitch there.
Yeah, a little high. Both teams start with the leadoff walk here. Walking the kind of the guy you don't want to walk, your speed.
Right. So here's Cooper Smith. Talked about him playing third base.
Cooper got any college interest?
He's Troy University.
Oh, that's the Troy University.
Yep.
Cooper is hitting .481 on the year. He's got their highest batting average, but that's incredible. I mean,
at this level, that is amazing.
The amount of hand-eye coordination, the amount of contact you got to make there is pretty great.
They face the best pitching every night, and it's not.
Even the top tier team. Not even 1 and 2, but like Mail and Ballard, they're saving their best for these teams.
Oh yeah, you're getting everybody's ace.
You're getting everybody's ace.
You're everybody's Super Bowl.
Right.
So
everybody
Jason
wants to beat St. X and Trinity.
Watch him lead off here. I really like how he's leading off. So he's 1-2, shuffle, shuffle. Exactly what we teach, right? And once Paul comes set here, he'll take his secondary. Nice. That's textbook.
That's exactly what we teach, and some of the kids on our team are getting there. Some are still a little timid, afraid to get picked off. But
and some of our kids can kind of get by with their athleticism right now, but once you get to a certain point, you've got to be able to do the textbook type things.
Absolutely.
If you're going to progress. Yeah, staying there. Nice block by Klein.
And that's what we're trying to teach them at this young age, 12U. We're trying to do the right technique over and over. Eventually they'll get the hang of it.
I'm not sure I had the video in the right spot there, but they were showing our ugly faces, but now I've got it corrected.
Well, you definitely don't want me.
You didn't miss much. You missed a walk and a couple pass balls, but Osteen delivers. Ooh. Yeah, this is exactly what Coach Arnold was worried about. He was hoping that Paul would come out and get off to a good, quick start.
Man, I saw a couple of those pitches. They
were close.
Looked like strikes.
They were close, right?
I mean, I'm right behind the plate, and that, I don't know.
Good job here.
I think he was close.
Jacob Bennett's hitting .493 on the season.
Yeah, he's going to
He's leading the team in home runs. He has 7 on the year.
He has signed with San Jacinto College. Am I saying that right? I'm probably pronouncing that
All right, well, good enough. He's a nice home run threat. Actually, out of anybody in this game, he's got more home runs on the year.
He's their catcher. He's a good player.
Big redheaded kid.
He's got some pop.
Big strong kid, man.
He's get a hold of one.
He's built.
He's pretty thick.
He is. He's built. I
like his swagger up there too. He's bouncing around. Got the wagon.
I'm glad you brought that up, Rick. That's something that we kind of preached this past weekend is look, make the pitcher fear you. Go up there with some swag. Go up there with no fear in your eyes. If you go up there and it looks like, hey, this guy's gonna be easy to strike out, you probably will be. Go up there just ready to dominate.
Yeah, you sent out a good video on that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about having that swagger. It's about having that confidence in yourself. And honestly, man, it plays your advantage.
He's
Ooh,
taking some cuts.
2 big cuts. Now, all right, what's your all's opinion at this point right now? Those were 2 home run swings, okay?
He's got to choke up and
He's got to move the runners here, right?
now, right.
This is a different swing at this point, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's got to look at him. Where did his hands go?
Yep, look, he's choked up.
No outs. You got to move those runners around.
His hands went up on the bat.
Yep.
So you got a good 2 inches below his
Look where
hand
he is.
now.
He's up on the plate.
Is on the line.
He's just trying to make contact at this point.
on
Put
the
something
line
on the
of the
ground. And that's what he did.
he
Through
did.
the gap. Going to score 1.
Hey, that's
a good piece of hitting right
what
there.
You want
Great
out of a batter. That's, he took 2 good cuts. He didn't get it. He scooted up to the plate, choked up on the bat, put the ball in play, and scored a run.
What a great piece of hitting right there. That was.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, again, look, these are all top end guys, right? College players. You would expect that out of that, but I tell you, that was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The confidence in those 2 swings, even the misses were really good swings.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping our kids are watching. I told them don't run around, watch the game.
Well, amen. I agree with that
Pay
because so many
attention to
times
details.
you get these kids this age, they're not paying attention. But man, you can pick up so much here just by paying attention.
Well, and that's the thing we preached in practice the other night, Rick. You made a good point there. Paying attention to the game, even when you're not involved, you can pick up on just little things like the pitcher's moves, different things. Just being involved is key to success,
And
especially
all
at this
these
age
players,
group.
I mean, you look on the sideline or look in the dugouts, every single one of them's up on the fence. Now, unless you're hurt or something like that, or
Right.
But they're all up on the fence.
They're all involved in the game. They're watching every pitch, and
And it's not
That's
just
key.
'cause, and at this level, it's not just because it's San Trinity. They do that every game.
Right.
It's
Right.
expected.
It is expected. I mean, and listen, you're not going to play. You're not cracking this lineup of this top 10 if you're not doing that, right?
Yeah, if you're
Right.
sitting on the bench, just looking at your phone or something like that, that ain't gonna
Yeah,
happen.
you're not cracking it if not.
a perfect example that I use with Landon is a lot of times we get 0-2 on the batter, and everybody says the curve's coming next.
Yep.
Well, pay attention, and you'll know if it's coming next because if you pay attention to the pitcher, you know if that's his go-to pitch on 0-2.
I saw somebody. If you do enough scouting on this stuff, and if the guy's going to throw a curveball once to every batter, wait for it.
Right,
Yeah, if you
Look
know
for
what's
it.
coming.
Look for it, and knock it out of the park.
right. We got one player that I think he waits for it, and
He does,
his
doesn't
pitch,
he? Kanan loves some curveballs.
he does. And he's jacked a couple of those.
We probably
curveballs.
should not be telling people this right now because any of our opponents
I
that are
know.
listening are not going to throw Kanan some curveballs anymore.
You
but
need to edit that out.
I
after
should
this.
edit that out. All right, let's see. Can they turn 2 here? Nope. He's going to go with 1.
Got
Nice
to him
play.
Too slow.
Yeah.
Nice play by Robbie with a nice little sidearm.
Hey,
You know-
move the runners over.
That's something that they practice. They practice that different arm slot.
Right.
So, it's one of those things where they really practice throwing from that lower spot because a lot of times on the run, that's the easier way to do it.
Hey, you don't have time to stop, collect yourself, and then make an overhand throw or a 3/4 slope. You got to throw on the run, and that sidearm's a lot more accurate than trying to go over top.
All right, who we got up to bat here, Rick?
Oh gosh, where are we at here?
John Paul Jardina.
No, I think. Oh yeah. John Paul Jardina, center fielder.
Oh,
The
shot.
shot.
Double down the line to left field. Scored 2.
3-0 St. X.
Yep.
Well, that's the start you want if you're St. X. Now, how long do you stick with Osteen at this point?
I don't know. I can't see the bullpen they gave me up throwing.
It doesn't look like it. Do you roll with him? Do you just say, all right, well, listen, it's a regular season game. This isn't a good day, lose and go home. Well, I don't know. He's going to talk to him.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, you don't want this game to. It's a rivalry game. You don't want to get it out of hand.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's heck. 1 out,
3-0.
3-0 already. You got to do that. It's funny. Oh, they pulled him already.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Where are they going? Tinza. Nate Tinza. Let's see what Nate Tenza's pitching stats are here.
You know, one thing that immediately sticks out watching this game is every one of these kids have got speed. Running the bases, I mean, it's amazing to see some of these athletes out here.
Nate's only pitched 9 innings. He's got 5 strikeouts. He's got a 1.45 ERA. I don't know that he's got a ton of velocity, but Nate will mix some junk. He'll throw you some curves, sliders, breaking, sinkers. He'll junk it up on you. Man, interesting start here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Not the start you want as a team that's supposed to be the number 1 team. And I guess, look, it depends on what poll you're looking at, right, Rick? So
I saw one today that had St. X number 1.
that was the PBR, right?
I don't know.
I think that was PBRs. I think that there's a state one that has Trinity number 1. It just depends on what you're looking at. Records are somewhat similar. Let me see here. I've got that somewhere in my mound of papers here.
Seems like they play about the same level of competition. So there's
Well-
some schools from Illinois that come down here, and they
come play both of
them
them. Yep.
while they're here. You know, make the most of it.
And that makes sense. I mean, let's see. So St. X is, well, it doesn't tell me. They've got 20-5, I think. And Trinity is 19-2.
You told me St. X lost last night, didn't you?
They did.
Frederick Douglass.
They did. 4-8.
So this is a bounce back game for them.
It is a bounce back game. So, Trinity's trying to do everything they can to stop the bleeding right now. Do you guys like the move, pulling him in the first inning here?
Well, I mean, Rick knows them better than anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that first batter walk, 4-pitch walk to start the game, I thought he was doing okay. They just had some really good hits.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you here. Let me put it back on the game here. See what I'm saying?
Good curveball.
Nate's got he really makes that ball break.
Yeah. And that ball was almost in the dirt, and it was a strike.
So my son's working on a pitch right now called a gangster curve. Y'all ever heard of that? Yeah. So you
make
hold
that
yeah. I have to ask him. He can tell you. So basically, you hold it with your middle finger and your palm, and then you just flip it, and then when you're done, you just point your fingers like a gun.
Okay.
That's why it's called the gangster curve, and apparently it just breaks the bottom out of it.
Nice.
Yeah, last week, what was it? The knuckle curve? one
Knuckle
of them
curve.
throwing, so
Yeah, we had a couple kids throw that in some games. It worked, believe it or not. We had a great Saturday, Jason, and then a really rough.
Picked them off. Oh, dropped it. They had him.
They did have him.
yeah, that's what I was kind
Had
of
him on that spin move that we do.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of telling about the weekend. It was a tale of 2 days. We had a great Saturday and a very bad Sunday. So.
And typically we're not very good on Saturdays, but really good on Sundays.
Right.
But man, it was the opposite this past weekend, and we got waxed on Sunday, and it's a tough one to bounce back from. I mean, we weren't as bad as we looked, but everything went their way. Every bounce, every call, everything that could have gone against us went against us.
It did.
Couple really bad calls that, that's part of baseball. And we try to teach our kids that's part of baseball, but they get so upset. We should have been out of that first inning with 0 outs because of a really, really, really bad call. They ended up scoring 4 or 3 or something.
They scored 3.
It's just like this game. They scored 3, and I'm interested to see that Trinity
See how
bounce
Trinity
back.
walks off the field.
Yeah, because our kids were done after that first inning.
Yeah, they
and,
walk off the field like somebody killed their puppy.
yeah, and and that's why I've been preaching all week mental toughness. We got to just, the day before we scored 5 runs in the first inning and 5 runs in the second inning.
Yeah.
3 runs is nothing, and with our bats, but it just seems like the mental aspect that they get down, and it's hard to get them back up sometimes.
Oh, Rick doesn't. So Rick's walking here to talk to the ump.
Uh-oh. Is he getting tossed already?
Interesting. What do you think he's upset about?
I'm not sure.
He's pointing at somebody.
Oh, maybe. So there's a big line of students, it looks like, up along the fence of the third baseline.
Okay.
That looks like that's where he's pointing. Now, I can't hear anything or know what they're doing, but seems like they might be doing something to distract the pitcher or fielder.
You got two of the best here in Coach Arnold and Coach Porta.
Now, I don't know what is and isn't allowed. I mean, they're obviously allowed to cheer and do whatever.
You think maybe they're trying to shine something on him?
Again, I don't know. There's certain things you can't do. So maybe they're doing something.
It's funny, and I love the atmosphere. But you got the two student sections. Boy, they're letting them hear it over here on the St. X student section.
They are.
Coach Porter is trying to figure out what the issue is over here.
Maybe it's just a tactic to slow the game down.
Might be. Let's see if we get a strikeout here. Then you applaud Rick. It's funny you say that. I was at the Trinity Bowling Green game, and the Bowling Green head coach walked out to the mound. He wasn't pulling his pitcher, but he walked out to the mound absolutely as slow as he could possibly walk out there and then back. I mean, it literally took forever for him to get out there and back, and everybody was yelling at him, but it was just a tactic.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Slow it down a little bit and take a deep breath and go again.
All right, so you got a right-handed batter. Second base is kind of doing the same thing that we were just talking about.
They picked to him twice already. Now, the one time they had him, he just dropped it. Oh.
A little high.
3-2.
We heard strike 4 from one of the fans behind us.
This ump doesn't like the high strike.
He doesn't. Well,
from what I can see.
There's been a couple high ones right over the plate that he has called balls.
Right.
And it's so tough. Rick, you had made a comment on the way over here. And we got a little grounder to first base. Should be out number 2. It is.
Yep.
You made a comment on the way over here that they had canceled the freshman JV games because of the lack of umpires. How about that?
Yeah, they were supposed to play last night. And, I saw a little pop-up on Twitter saying the game was canceled due to lack of umpires.
How about that? Isn't that crazy, Jason? I mean, that's just one of those things where
I don't know if because it was freshman and JV, so I don't know if obviously I would believe that you get the umps for the varsity first and then it trickles down. But I don't know what happened there. Maybe a bunch of them got sick. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I tell you, man, these umps get berated.
It's going to be a problem. It already is a problem, but it's going to continue to be a problem if we keep treating these umpires like garbage.
Yep, you're right.
Who wants to put up with that?
It's a tough job, I can tell you that.
A lot of them do it because they love baseball. They're not necessarily doing it for the money. They get paid okay. For the amount of hours and all that, but they do it because they love the game. They don't love to be yelled at.
No, you can't.
Berated.
So in our game this past weekend, this is Saturday. Actually, it was my son up the bat. He foul tipped it. We got a grounder up
It's
there.
a tough play.
Safe. RBI.
That was deep in the hole. It was going to be a tough one.
Well, I tell you, if there's any team, though, in the state of Kentucky that can battle back from an 0-4 deficit, it is Trinity. They got some firepower.
I agree.
Back what I was saying, so my son foul tipped it. The catcher, it hit the catcher's glove, but then fell on the ground. Well, this guy behind the plate was going crazy yelling at this umpire, saying he should be out. And I'm like, dude, it was a foul tip.
Must not have known it tipped it.
Well, no, he knew. He thought the catcher caught it.
Yeah. It was a young umpire, too.
It was, and I was like, look, man, I mean, you just can't scream at these. It's one thing if you're a coach and you want to talk about a call. I understand that. It's a totally different thing when you're just berating them as a fan.
Well, and again, we only had one ump. One. And why is that? An ump shortage.
Yep.
Because nobody wants to put up with that.
Well,
And we're lucky to have one.
And the one up we had, he got sick before the game.
He couldn't do it. So they had to pull an ump off another field, which gave that field one ump. So, I mean, we're all struggling with umpires. So let's try to treat them a little better, They're only human. They're doing the best they can.
Agreed, Rick. Be nice.
Well, Jason, I can't thank you enough for getting us started here in inning number 1. We're going to let you go up to the stands here and enjoy the game a little bit.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
It's been great the last couple of years coaching with you guys, and look for even more success over the next few years.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. James, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going well. Thanks for joining us.
I feel like we were just together.
We were, man. You know, doing a little marketing. Boy, what an atmosphere, huh?
Oh, man, this is great. And that's what you want when you have a rivalry like this. It's such a great rivalry with such long history and all these sports and everything that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Good for the kids. You know, good for the parents, good for the families. This is exactly what you want to see.
You know, I tell you, so I'm a St. X grad, 1998. And it's funny, like the brotherhood extends to St. X and Trinity once you get to a certain age, right?
Absolutely.
Once you become an alumni and you get out, it's one of those things where it just kind of extends. So it's pretty cool, really. The city of Louisville's lucky to have such two great institutions.
Absolutely. Even when I was walking in, I saw some guys that graduated last year from Trinity. I saw some guys that graduated 20 years from Trinity. You go from Trinity, and they just all come back to support each other.
Right.
You know, like you said, that brotherhood, that camaraderie, and that's just special. You don't get that at every place.
Nope, absolutely not. Hey, let's talk about Trinity here a little bit.
Sure.
So, obviously, they've got a special team. Now, we're down 4-0 here, but the defending state champions.
Yep.
You know, talk to us a little bit about the admissions thing. So, if you are a kid that's 7th or 8th grade, and you're interested in going to one of these schools and playing baseball, what's the process?
The biggest thing, I think, for students, I think it's that shadow day.
Yep.
You know, and we're kind of coming up to the end of those shadow days. You know, once we get to May, our students and our teachers start to shift into finals mode. We get into graduation. We start to put the focus, you know, on those seniors who are graduating,
Right.
and then ramping up things for students to finish strong academically, our
Right.
students. But we have another week or so of shadowing for 7th graders on campus. And then once school starts and things settle in towards the end of August, early September, then 8th graders start to come and shadow.
Okay.
And that gives them that real life, you know, kind of really seeing what it's like to be a Trinity student for the day.
When you go shadow, what does your day look like?
So they come in and they will be matched up. We'll have some upperclassmen there that will meet them at the door, welcome them, greet them, you know, make sure they feel comfortable. We'll have a freshman host that will meet them.
Okay.
They'll get breakfast, which we'll give them just to kind of help settle things in.
Sure.
And then we'll match them up based on their preferences. what
So if they
want to
know
do
somebody, they could.
Correct.
Okay.
So
Correct.
based
If
on
they-
their interests, like I'm into science, so you're
Correct.
going to hook them up with the science guy.
Exactly, and that's what
The science guy.
yeah, the more information the parents, the guardians, loved ones can give us,
Okay.
the more personalized we can make that visit.
Now, what if your best friend's kid goes to Trinity and you're like, he wants to shadow him? Can you do that too?
Absolutely. The biggest thing for me is I want them to feel comfortable when they come on campus. You know, because if they're comfortable, they're going to enjoy it more. They're going to be more relaxed. They're going to take it all in. If they come and shadow a friend the first time and it maybe wasn't the right fit academically, we could always do a second one and then personalize it academically or athletically or club or activity. So I tell them, you know, if you come once, come 3 times. It's okay.
So you can shadow, let's say, an unlimited amount of times?
Absolutely. And not just for another free lunch. You know,
Right.
Come back and you get a
About
different
breakfast, you
experience.
know?
Yeah, exactly. They like the T-shirts, they like the lunch, they like the breakfast, but we want them to have that whole experience to feel comfortable with things.
Oh, wow. Got a nice strikeout there. But I tell you what, man, this kid is throwing some gas up on the mound. Ty Stark is a special arm. He thought he got a walk, but I had a pretty good angle from
like
right
a
behind the plate. That thing got the corner. That looked like a strike to me. Now, James, it looks like there's a lot of construction going on campus. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing over there at Trinity.
It's a great time to be at Trinity and to be coming into Trinity. Right now, we're in the middle of 15 projects that were all somewhat in different stages. Some are finished, some are in progress, some will get started. The large majority, if not all of them, will be done before the start of school.
Okay.
The great thing is they're all student-centered. You know, for example, there's going to be 2 new learning centers that are going to be flexible learning spaces for our students. There's
Okay.
going to be a new welcome center for
Nice.
prospective students and families.
And that's going to be where the current campus store is, correct?
Correct. That's going in where the campus store is. The campus store and athletic offices are moving spaces to allow for easier access for guests.
Gotcha.
So they can kind of get in and out. The business office is being remodeled so that families, when they come on campus to access that, can get there easier and have more easy access to it. there's some things that are going on, like the biggest buzz is there's a new video board that's going up.
Yeah.
In the stadium.
Yeah.
You guys were there today.
It's going to be like a college.
It's going to be really cool. And
Replacing
everybody's excited. We're replacing the turf. There's a long list of things. And everybody's excited about the video board because they're thinking, replays.
Sure, yeah.
What we're excited about is there's already 20 of our students that have volunteered to be a part of the game day productions.
How cool is that?
And that's going to be a real-world experience.
Well, Ty Stark takes care of the 1-2-3 of the Trinity Rocks there in the top of the second inning.
Yeah. He looks pretty good on the mound.
He is. Yeah, I do think he's their number one arm, Rick, and I tell you that's
Makes sense.
it does, and it's all about pitching at this level. And Trinity can hit. Now again, if anybody can come out and dig themselves out of this hole, it's certainly Trinity. They've got some firepower here. Nate Tenza will come back out for the bottom of the second. Now, how well do you know some of these guys here, JT?
I know the large majority of them, because I've been in the position long enough that I've kind of seen a lot of these cycles come in and come through. So at one point, I've spent time with each of these guys or each of these families, and built some pretty solid relationships. Some of them, like Nate, his brother has graduated. His dad's really involved at Trinity. His mom's really involved at Trinity. So there's some pretty deep connections with these guys.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Now,
I tell you, it's special kids too, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, and it's kind of top to bottom, but a lot of special kids.
Yep.
And we're a baseball, centric podcast. So if I've got a kid who's interested in playing, at the next level, playing for Trinity and going to school at Trinity, how do you know that, and how does that filter to the coach, or do they get any kind of visit, or go look at the field if they haven't seen it already, or go look at the facilities? Is there any close attention to athletics when they come on?
Absolutely. Like I said, the personalization goes to whatever level that family really is interested in. You mentioned science. If they're into STEM and those things, then we'll make sure those connections are made. If they could tell us that they're interested in baseball, Coach Arnold's great. He will come by campus to see them, take them to the stadium, talk to them, have those conversations.
Just if they say they're interested.
Great. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
And he knows, and his staff know, and they've got feelers out to all the community. They're really into that whole process. And the whole thing that Coach Arnold will say is, listen, we want these families to come to Trinity.
Right.
And if the baseball thing works out, then great. That's a win-win for everybody.
Right.
And that's the thing. We're all on the same page. We want the best for every single student, every single family that are interested in Trinity.
Makes sense. Makes sense, man. And I tell you, if you were a part of that baseball season last year, that was a special situation. Ooh, a little bloop single. Jack Thompson gets on.
Yeah, they were an awesome group last year. Those kids and those families.
Well, when you got one of the best players in the country,
yes,
makes a big difference. And I tell you what, he was a special kid. Dalen Lyle, something else. And Dalen was actually on our podcast, doing really well in rookie ball right now for the Washington Nationals. So Dalen's a special guy.
I actually, on my way over here, someone tapped me on the shoulder, and it was Dalen's dad. And he gave me a big hug, and I said, man, how is Dalen doing? Because he just had some surgery.
Right.
He's recovering. The memory that I will have, the lasting memory that I'll have of Dalen Lyle is the day after they won the state championship. I go to see Coach Arnold and his staff because they're having baseball camp. And there's Dalen Lyle out in the outfield
Working the baseball
with
camp.
10 third and fourth graders
Right.
all around him. He's sitting on a bucket, shagging fly balls, doing all this.
After he's already graduated.
After he's already
After he's gotten
graduated,
drafted.
he's got a state championship, he's drafted. And I walk up to him and I said, man, I am so proud of you. And he just said, yeah, no problem.
Says a lot about his character.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's something else.
Him and Ethan Hodge,
Oh,
another
yeah.
guy that's at
Yep.
Xavier. He was in the batting cage.
How's he
that
doing at
day.
Xavier?
He's doing awesome. I talked to his parents a lot.
He's a great basketball player, too.
Great basketball, two-sport guy,
Uh-huh.
played two sports for all 4 years, has a state championship in both sports. There's not many guys that can say that. That's pretty hard to do in Kentucky.
Nice double play there.
Yep. And Ethan's up at Xavier doing great. put on a bunch of weight. He's doing great.
Athlete, man. That kid's an athlete.
Two great kids. Those
He
are
could
great
probably play
examples.
basketball for Xavier, quite honestly.
I mean, those are two kids. Those are the type of kids that we love to have at Trinity.
So Chase Armstrong over there just did the splits when he caught that ball at
did.
first base. How important is that, Rick, to be able to do the splits at first base?
It's pretty daggone athletic.
that was impressive, wasn't it?
If I happened to even get down on the splits, I don't think I'd be able to get back up.
No.
Yeah, that was impressive. All right, who do we got up here for St. Act?
That's their two-batter, Cooper Smith. Landon Akers just grounded into a double play.
Okay.
A well-turned double play by Trinity's defense.
Cooper Smith, again, is hitting .481 on the year. Does not have any home runs, but he's got 7 doubles and 7 triples.
Yeah,
So,
Tens is working that curveball.
I told you, he's going to throw you some junk.
Seeing about 75% curveball.
He's not going to throw it past you if you know if the fastball's coming, but he's going to throw those curveballs for strikes. Again, another great curveball. JT, how long have you been at Trinity?
I think this is going on 17 years.
17 years.
Yes. Yeah, I can't believe it. I have to think about it every once in a while, but I've been here.
You know, and I tell you, man, it really seems like a family affair over there. Every time I get there, I feel like, oh, well, there's another Saxton, or it's everybody's just so, or another Mullins. Yeah,
Yeah.
It really, I mean, it really, it seems like a very family-oriented atmosphere.
It really is. You know, when I'm not from here. I wasn't blessed to be able to go to a school like Trinity or St. X. I moved down here when I was kind of younger.
Okay.
I never thought I'd be here for this long.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of one of those things. I was younger and looking for a job and, you know, willing to kind of move wherever. And it was just a place that I was able to continue to grow, just like our students do. And that's a great place to be. And like you said, it's such a family place.
There's the splits again. You got to ask Chase if he practices that,
I
JT.
will. I'm going to have to track him down tomorrow.
That's a stretch, man.
That's impressive. James, I can't thank you enough for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
That second inning went pretty quick, but, you know, it is what it is.
So how do people get a hold of Trinity or you, or
Yeah,
what do they need to do?
You can go to our website, trinityrocks.com. 893-ROCK is our main line, or they can contact me directly. My name is James Torra, Director of Admissions, 736-2120. I'd be happy to talk, walk any family through the process. You know, the great thing about Trinity is each year when these new students come, they're arriving from 70 different schools, all across Jefferson and the surrounding counties. So even if you didn't grow up in one of these families and kind of thinking, I'm going to a Catholic high school, one of these things, don't think it's out of reach. Call and find out more and see what we can do to help your family.
All right, James.
JT, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
guys.
your time. And I tell you, guys, if you're interested in Trinity, give JT a call. He's the best. You will certainly enjoy, if nothing else, you will enjoy your shadow or your visit. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Hey y'all, head to GuardianBaseball.com to check out our amazing selection of batting helmets.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here at the St. X Trinity Baseball game, where St. X has a 4-0 lead over the Trinity Rocks. Trinity might get a... Oh, what a play there by the right fielder, tracking that down. Nice. Well, our third inning guest is Mr. Jamie Tessoff. He is the Director of Operations for PBR Kentucky. What's up, Jamie?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing
Appreciate
great,
y'all
man.
having me.
Thank you for jumping on. Tell us a little bit about what PBR Kentucky does.
We provide showcase events and things like that for the players to create profiles, and we get data and analytics on them, video, and get them out to the colleges and MLB guys, and then we follow up with colleges as they call myself and our state director, Chris Fuller.
Now, is this something that you guys pick and choose who gets to be part of this, or do the players come to you? How does that work?
We have some events that are invite only, that top prospect games events and things like that. But
Sure.
for the most part, if somebody requests and they come with a recommendation from a high school coach or a summer program or something like that, we absolutely would love to have them out and create a profile for them and do whatever we can to help them move on after high school.
Awesome.
How early are you looking at these kids? Are you looking just at high school, junior, senior? Are you getting the freshmen, or are you looking even younger than that?
Nah, we focus mainly on high school kids, but we also have a couple events every year. We do a thing called the Futures Games down in Cartersville, Georgia. It's a national event. It's attended by about 350 Division I baseball coaches every year. Along with that, they have a junior futures games for the seventh graders and eighth graders, and we'll create a couple of events each year so that way we can get an idea on who we want to take down there and things like that. It's an extremely popular event, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Now, JT, tell us a little bit about what we're watching here from a pitching standpoint. So this is a big kid, right? Ty Stark, and he just faced Corbin Dickerson, who's another one that I'm sure you know super well. So talk to us a little bit about the talent on the field here.
Well, I probably don't have enough time in the day to sit here and talk about what's running around out here tonight. Let's start with Ty Stark on the mound. 6'6", probably a little taller than 6'6" now. He continues to grow, get taller, high waist, long arms. Starting to really get it figured out, showing some repeatable mechanics. He's certainly gonna be a Power 5 arm at the next level, and who knows, someday he fits the profile of being a pro guy. At some point.
What's his velocity hitting? Do you know what he's maxing out at?
He's a tick down today from what we normally have him at. He's sitting around 83, 86 today.
Oh, okay.
But
he's got a wicked curveball.
It's kind of
breaking well.
It's kind of like Bugs Bunny, isn't it? The thing that makes Ty Stark so tough to get barreled up if you're a hitter. He has so much run on his fastball, horizontal movement. We had him in Tennessee at the border battle this last year with Team Kentucky playing Team Tennessee, and his ball was running 22 inches.
And you can see it. So we're right behind the plate, and JT, that ball just went woo. I mean, it really had some run there on his fastball.
Yeah, it's really something special to watch, and when he's dialed in like it looks like he is tonight. Hits are going to be at a premium. There's no doubt about that.
Now, can this kid go the distance?
Ty, yeah. As you can tell, he's it's pretty efficient. He just moved through that inning in about 10 pitches.
Yeah, that wasn't much there.
You can see it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy out there. He's just flipping it up there tonight. It looks like he's feeling it with his battery mate. Jake Bennett back there. They do a good job with each other. They've known each other for a while, and Jake, being a senior, has certainly improved his defensive ability behind the plate, and looks to be like they're dialed in pretty good this evening.
Now, what about the other side of the field for Trinity? So we saw an early hook, Paul Osting. Was he struggling, or was it just one of those you just got to make a change?
I'm not really sure. I mean, it was just such a small sample size. I don't know if Paulie just maybe didn't feel right this evening or something. But we've seen him much better, and he's been really good this year. And it's unfortunate. That happened to Paulie, and I think Rick probably went out there and got him. He didn't want the game to get out of hand, and he was just trying to stop it before it did. And it's his program, and that was his decision. And obviously they've had a great deal of success. So who's to question Rick Arnold?
Yeah, amen. I mean, he's certainly one of the best, and so is Porta. I mean, you got two Hall of Famers here, in my opinion. I mean, some great coaches. So from a talent perspective here, JT, who's got the biggest ceiling? Who do you think maybe has a major league potential in their bag?
I think Corbin Dickerson certainly has a chance to be playing on television someday. He's a 5-tool guy. He's going to continue to gain added strength as he grows older and matures. And he's already got some present power in the bat. He's got a lot of whip to the barrel. I think as he develops more physically and things like that, I think we definitely have a chance. I think Matt Klein behind the plate, Louisville commit for Trinity. I think Matt has a chance someday to do something really special as well on that end. And St. X has a couple of other guys themselves that probably has some potential.
We mentioned Ty Stark. He's certainly got the frame.
Absolutely. There's another one over there that's really interesting that continues to get better. Ben Tedesco. He's a senior that's going to Gulf Coast State down in Florida, and he's 6'7" and a half. He's really starting to get them long levers synced up. The young man here at the plate, Jake Bennett, Sanjak commit down in Houston. can really, really, really swing the bat.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
And he had a great.
We were talking about that first
He had
at
a
bat.
great
The first two swings were really good, kind of home run type cuts, and then he chokes up about 2 inches on his bat. And he had a nice ground ball through the gap. Just made a great piece of hitting.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's matured a whole lot at the plate, and you know, the knock on Jake for the longest time was he was just really stiff behind the plate, receiving wise, and he's starting to get that figured out. Shoot, he hit a home run the other night last week against Brother Rice over the 400 sign. That was a line drive, and
Wow.
you know, he's extremely strong, powerful. The young man coming up to the plate right now that's hitting cleanup that's not pitching tonight is another Louisville commit, Jake Greger.
Okay.
Sophomore, and we've had Jake up to 94 on the TrackMan in February.
Wow.
So he's a pitcher as well.
Yeah, he's going to be a pitcher at the next level, and I am certain that that the coaching staff over at Louisville, Roger Williams and Eric Snyder and Coach McDonald are excited to have him get on campus when they get him.
Now, how close do you work with those guys? Do you work with some of these college coaches to trying to get the right talent in?
You know, I like to think I do. You know, we speak regular. I speak to them quite a bit.
Right.
You know, they'll call and ask an opinion, or you know, a lot of times for players, I'll reach out to them if they're not high radar guys that we had just seen and things of that nature to get them on the boards. You know, if you will, in the office. And
because how important is it to get these local kids to stay local, you know, to go to the U of L's, the UKs. We saw there's a bunch of kids here going to Bellarmine. I mean, is that important?
You know, I gotta be honest with you. Personally, from a selfish standpoint, it's extremely important for me to keep the talent in Kentucky as much as as much as I can by reaching out to the coaches and everybody involved, because you know it's way better financially for the kids to stay in state, if you will, and I think if you guys ever spoke to any of these kids and the parents, they'll tell you I'm an education first guy, because this game will end for them.
Yep.
And when it does, I want them to be able to come up and find me 10 years from now and thank me for stressing that to them, because you know, in my opinion, that's the most important thing is you know, the education for sure.
JT, what's your background?
My background, I played some in high school, and you know, I played some JUCO ball down in Florida, some Division I ball down in Florida as well.
Okay.
Ran into some shoulder issues. I was, you know, just undersized right-handed pitcher that would,
Yep.
you know, kind of have to grind things out to
Sure.
get outs and things like
Sure.
that. And what you see is what you get. You know?
I think we're kind of looking at one of those on the mound right now with Nate Tenza. That's kind of how he's pitching. You know, he's a little undersized, and he's just trying to get it done with some junk and some everything else.
Yeah, Nate's a dog, man. He's one of them kind of guys that a few years from now,
Close.
Nice shot to left field.
Giardino almost got him one there, didn't he, boys?
Sure did.
Boarding track power there.
Yeah, for sure. Tenza's definitely a guy that'll pitch to contact, and he's not afraid to go after you. As evidence right there.
Now, I would assume, look, you got some big names here. Obviously, Greger, obviously Stark, Dickerson, Klein. Schweitzer is another kid that's committed to U of L. What do you think about his potential?
Oh, my goodness. It's off the charts. You know, I'm glad I'm not in Coach McDonald and Coach Snyder and Coach Williams' shoes trying to figure out if they want him to be a mound guy or, you know, a shortstop. Who knows? The way Jake's built and as strong as he continues to get as he matures, I mean, I don't know. The kid could end up at third base. I don't know. Guys, I got to be honest with you. That's a little over my pay grade. That kid's so athletic.
He is.
Yeah, he's so athletic and so talented.
Well, he struggled a little bit with the bat this year.
Yeah, you know, I think that's just growing pains. You know, here's the other thing that a lot of people out there might not understand is that when you're talking about two programs like this, and you know, you've got McCracken County and Paducah Tillman, Bowling Green, and some of the other special programs in the state that are consistently right there fighting for state titles. A lot of people need to understand that these guys are seeing everybody's best punch. You know, and I think Jake's not used to seeing everybody's number one, because everybody wants to take down Trinity. Everybody wants to take down X, you know. And I think maybe that could be a little bit of the problem, but I don't anticipate it
He's just getting used to it.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be sustained at all with regards to young Mr. Schweitzer. That's for sure.
He's got a ton of confidence. He's got some swagger about him that you can't teach. You just are born with, and he's got that for sure. Just a sophomore.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely has some swagger, and I'll go ahead and say it as polite as I possibly can. I'm pretty close with his father, and I'll just say Jake gets it honestly.
There you go. There you go. Now, JT, how important is that, though? I mean, isn't it important to have a little bit of that moxie?
I got to tell you, I love it. You know, I'm not a big I'm not a big bat flip guy or a guy that likes to see a lot of chirping and things like that. But the game, you know, I'm an old man now, so the game's different now. So it is what it is. But man, I tell you right now, like Stark out here on the mound, you know, when he comes off the mound, I mean, he's, you know, his chest's out, he's ready to go. It's like Schweitzer when he's bowling. You know, KD, you know, Dickerson, you know, I love seeing that. I like seeing confidence.
Trinity fans don't like. Well, actually, I guess it was St. X fans.
Strike?
Oh, they did call it a strike.
That was a ball.
Yeah, that looked a little outside. Yeah, that looked. So, JT, how many of these games do you make? Too many?
Last week I said no. I have to tell you this now. I absolutely love this. I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. It's my full-time occupation. You know, the high school season for me is like I don't want a day off. You know, my boss literally he told me the other day that if I didn't take a day or two off that he was going to fire me. So,
how about that?
Yeah, you know, and honestly, he's my best friend. So, you know, I hope I can kind of take that with a grain of salt.
Sure.
But I don't want to test him too bad on that, you know, to say the least. But I saw 8 games last week. I'll see in 6 days. I'll see 3, 4, 7. I'll see 10 this week from Wednesday to Monday.
So you like clone yourself because how are you seeing multiple games?
Yeah, you know, and I tell you what, what's really gratifying is like last week I got out to Taylor County, you know, Taylor County and Adair County. Earlier this year I went and watched Mason County and Rowan County. This last week I was down in Paducah and watched Owensboro Catholic and Bowling Green and Davies County. You know, it's really gratifying when I can get to a place like Taylor County or to Rowan County to where it's a little more rural and they don't get a lot of publicity and things like that. So I try to make a note of it to make sure they get some love because they deserve it. You know,
try to touch, you know, every corner of the state a little bit.
100%.
Are there other guys like you in Kentucky? Are there other, whatever you call them, scouts or?
Well, Chris, you know, for PBR myself, we have a couple of younger guys that are actually one's a student manager at Center College, Carter Floyd, who does a great job for us. Carter's finishing up his college season, and as soon as it's done, he'll be full-time scouting for the next 3 or 4 weeks until the high school season's over. Last year, a young man named Noah Gayhart, who's been on our staff for about 3 years. Noah has since moved on in the professional business, but Noah scouted a ton of games last year, and he's just great. He's a data and analytics guru, and he's the best in the business, no doubt about it.
How do you guys come up with your rankings? We saw a PBR state high school ranking today where it had St. X 1, Trinity 2. How do you guys come up with those?
I tell you right now, you know, Chris has been handling that this year, and I know it's really, really trying for him to do it because it takes hours each week.
It's got to.
It's a 3-4 hour process, you know, and I do the best I can with my input, you know, from telling him what I see from certain games. But Chris has been handling a lot of that, and I've given some input. And I tell you right now, we feel awful because every time we put somebody at number 1, they lose immediately. You know, like X did last night, and so here we go. And I mean, we've had, you know, Paducah Tillman went in there, and poor Tillman lost 3 games in a row. They had a stomach bug, and I don't think anybody wants that spot, to be honest with you.
I understand that.
You got a target on your back.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who do you think's got the best shot to win the state this year?
Whew. Boy, you are putting me on the spot. Well, I got to tell you, it's awful hard for me to go. Being a former pitcher myself, I'm a pitching guy. And
You got to have the pitching.
I think pitching carries teams. I
agree.
I think for me personally, I had I know when we did our initial preseason poll, I had St. X #1 with 3 or 4 of us on staff.
Yep.
With that pitching staff. There's another pitching staff that rivals St. X, and that's at Danville.
Yep.
Danville's really good with Logan Smothers, Brady Baxter, Sam Matherly, Brady Morse. I mean, they just run them out. 4 D1 arms right there, just one right after another. But, man, Trinity is basically a close to a small college lineup offensively.
Yep.
So, when they're on, who knows. But for me this year, McCracken County's really good.
Yeah.
With Ross Aldridge, Louisville commit, Jack Bennett, Western Kentucky commit, big, strong Eli James there, uncommitted 2024, Nate Lang, futures game guy for us. Boys, he's cruising. But Paducah Tillman, you can never count them out. Them guys there at Tillman, I think they just soon throw rocks at each other at the bus stop.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah.
There's some tough kids down there. They're really good. Bowling Green has Patrick Forbes amongst some other young players, and Dawson Hall, another big arm that's going to Western Kentucky. And boy, I'll tell you what, I'll be.
You mentioned a lot here, JT.
Yes, sir.
Who's throwing the hard? Who's got the fastest fastball in the state right now?
Whew. I'm going to get to see Thomas Howard tomorrow night from Frederick Douglass. Thomas is a Louisville commit. I know Evan Hart's been up in the 90, 91.
Is that what? So for a high school senior, what's a big time number? If you see 91, is that pretty impressive?
Yeah, 91 for a strike. 91 for a strike's really good if they can locate. Rowan County, Chase Alderman was 90-92 in the 5th inning for me 2 weeks ago. He was 88-90, and he got stronger as the game went on.
Inning.
Got faster
Wow.
as the game went on.
70 pitches into the game, he was 90-92.
Just getting warmed up, right?
Yeah, he's 6'5", about 200 pounds, 4-sport athlete in high school.
Wow.
He's going to go to Eastern Kentucky and be a handful there when he concentrates just on baseball.
Man. And I guess, listen, these are some arms that still are going to develop when they get into college. So if you're hitting those numbers, you probably got a pretty good shot of getting that thing up into the mid-90s, right?
Yeah, I think we're going to have several guys, especially in this 24 class, and we've got some in the 25 class as well. The 24 class is really, really special with Greger and some of the other kids, Schweitzer. I mean, the list goes on and on. A young man just went through some Tommy John surgery out of Boyd County. 6'3", 230-pound right-hander Peyton Jackson. He's going to be a mid-90s guy.
You hate hearing that Tommy John in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
How common is that?
It's probably more the norm anymore. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable what medical technology has been able to do for sure. Tell you what, Tenza just sits there and fills it up, doesn't he, guys?
I'm so impressed with his stuff. Again, he's not going to throw it past you. So what do you think he's hitting as far as his fastball?
He's 81, 83.
81 to 83.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's not going to, again, he's not throwing it past you, but man, he's just got some different pitches. And you said it, he's a dog, right? He's going to battle.
Yeah, he's a tough kid that's not willing to give in to anybody, and I love it. I love watching him compete. I mean, he doesn't compete with each at bat; he competes each pitch.
So we run a travel ball podcast here, JT, that gets a ton of listens from coaches and travel ball players, kind of all over the state, really all over the country. What would be your advice for some of the younger ages? So if you're a 10, 11, 12, and baseball is your passion, what's your advice if you wanted to be able to progress and potentially play college baseball one day?
10, 11, 12.
Yep.
Listen to your parents. Be a kid. Play more than one sport.
Play more than one sport?
Play more than one sport.
We hear that a lot.
Man, when you're that age, you need to be a kid, Go to church with your family. Spend time with your family. Parents, take their phones away. Let them be kids.
Nice shot there.
And the thing that everybody needs to understand is this, that baseball is a partial scholarship sport. There's 11.7 at the best D1 places in the country.
Which is crazy.
It is for 35, 38 kids on a roster. You'll get more money. You'll get more money academically than you will baseball-wise, and when you stack it together, it makes college really affordable for you and your family.
How crazy is the paid assistance at the college level? That might be the worst NCAA rule there is, correct? Because you get one paid assistant?
You get two.
Two, okay.
And some schools don't even have two, but you get one, and I'm going to err on the side of caution here and not really talk too much about the NCAA.
Fair enough. That makes sense. I can understand why you would do that.
I'll say this. It's
nice pickoff there.
I'll say this. It really is the 11.7 scholarships. And listen, and I'll defend the girls too, the young ladies too. They get.
Yeah.
They don't get treated right either, in my opinion,
Yeah.
with the softball gals as well. But to me, it's egregious that there's only two paid assistants, and I think it's a disservice to the kids, more so than the universities and things like that, because the kids aren't being seen the way they should be seen.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that. I mean, it's crazy. So Chris Burke's a good friend of mine, friend of the show, has been on.
Love that guy.
Oh, he's the best, isn't he? Chris is fantastic.
He is the best. There's no doubt about it.
He's talked openly about that quite a bit, how just kind of ridiculous that rule is.
Yeah. I like when Chris is doing a SEC game on Saturday. I was with my wife, and last year, and her and I were sitting around, and I started texting Berkey during the game like that, and she kind of let me have it a little bit, saying, that man actually works, not like you. He's not going to answer you, and in between innings, he sent me a thumbs up. So I owe you one, Burke.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's an awesome guy, man. Great dude. A legend here at St. X.
Yep.
One of the best players ever played at University of Tennessee.
Heck, he might even be here.
Well, and I tell you, I'm sure he is somewhere. And I tell you, he would have had a heck of a pro career if it wasn't for a couple injuries.
Yeah, I'll never forget the home run. That home run still make the hair on the back of my neck stand up still, seeing a Kentucky kid do that. And, yeah, certainly a good person and definitely a great ambassador for the game. There's no doubt about that.
Jamie, last question. What is an important event if you want to get noticed that you have to be playing in?
If you're a sophomore or junior, you want to come and request an invite June 21st or June 28th. The 21st is at Eastern Kentucky University on their new playing surface, and the 28th will be down at Western Kentucky University. If you are a freshman, we will have an underclass games, and we will also have 2 Rising Stars events. Those are can't miss events. Can't miss events if you'd like to get your player profile and get a PBR number and things like that. We'd love to have you.
Jamie, you've been fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think our listeners got a ton out of this. We really appreciate your time.
Guys, I appreciate you all having me on here. Thank you so much.
We'll take a quick break, hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, head to GuardianBaseball.com to check out the new Guardian Baseball cleats that will keep your athlete on the field and running fast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kentuckiana Travel Ball Podcast. We are live at the St. X Trinity Baseball game. St. X has a 4-0 lead. They put up 4 here in the first inning. It's been 0s ever since. Ty Stark has been lights out on the mound. We have a very special guest. Everybody knows who he is. Mr. Aaron Flaker is joining us now. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, fellas. Thanks for having me tonight. Appreciate it.
Aaron, thank you for the hospitality. This has been fantastic. The weather is absolutely perfect. The atmosphere is fabulous.
Baseball weather right here.
Oh, I tell you.
The baseball gods took care of us today, didn't they?
They did, and the talent on this field, and just having Jamie just on was awesome. He broke down the talent for us, kind of told us where these guys stack up, and the whole PBR thing. It was pretty exciting.
Yep. There's a lot of talent both sides.
Both sides. So tell us a little about Ty Stark. So this kid is 6'6", Looks like he's throwing mid-80s today. I think he's been clocked maybe high 80s, maybe even better than that.
Yep.
But he's been dealing. Ooh, they've got a shot here.
Deep. Oh, got it.
Oh, great catch by the left fielder. What a play.
Wow. Deep in the gap. That's a deep gap, too. 375.
Wow.
Nice play by Ben Brunig there.
Yeah, that was a nice poke there by, I guess that was Schweitzer. Yep. Good little Schweitzer there. So, Aaron, tell us, now listen, so we're a travel ball podcast, and this is something that you know well and dear. Tell us about, your past experiences kind of in the baseball world.
Sure. Tonight's fun for me. I know I'm wearing St. X because I'm part of the player development program now, but look, there's great travel baseball players on both sides of this. And I tweeted today, like, this is exciting. This is, if you're a fan of baseball, you needed to be here tonight. I mean, it doesn't get much better.
Totally
I know we talk about the weather, but I'm talking about the talent from travel ball organizations all over, not just Louisville, but some of these kids playing on national level teams.
And you can learn, as a kid, you can learn so much just by coming to this game and watching these guys do their thing.
I tell when I used to coach the younger guys, they're all 15 now, and I'm not coaching travel ball anymore, but I used to say that all the time. You have to know what the next level looks like. And if you don't, what are you chasing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I've seen a ton of middle school and elementary school kids, and the freshman and JV squads for both teams. We got Trinity's, looks like freshman JV over here. We got ours over here. And that's what it's about.
It is what it's about.
If you really care about baseball and just don't get giddy over, let rivalries consume you and winning and losing, like, this is a great development opportunity for these young kids out here today.
I tell you, I fight this argument all the time where you've got a lot of anti-travel ball, still out there. And I tell you, man, so I've got a friend of mine who, he was a great athlete, played at South Oldham, was a great baseball player. His sons are 6'3", both built athletic kids. He was so anti-travel ball. I'm not going to do it. We're playing North Oldham Little League, and that's it. I tell you what, by the time his sons got to high school, they didn't have much of a shot because they weren't in that competitive atmosphere. And unfortunately, it is what it is, right? Rec ball just doesn't exist the way it used to exist.
Obviously that's all I played because I'm 50 years old and Legion ball in high school. Legion ball was ish. Travel ball for the older kids, but there was no. I mean, it was Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken, go to the regionals, and then the Little League, I guess.
All-Star team.
Make the All-Star team was travel ball. I was like, we could have played a different park,
right?
Yeah. So, travel. I mean, it is what it is. Travel ball's not going anywhere. It's just it's a monster, good and bad. Monsters can be good or bad, and obviously there's faults in the travel ball system, which we could spend a 3-hour show on that. You guys do that every week, right?
Yeah, we do. We do. That's exactly what
this exists. But let's be honest. There's some elite talent on this field who have been challenged, not just around this region, but going to Atlanta and Lake Point or up to Grand Park in Indianapolis or PG in Florida, like any of the tournaments on a regional to national level. All these kids have been on that scene and have benefited. It's just the truth. Like there's no arguing at this point. These kids have benefited from going to those elite competitions, facing that level of talent, and that's why Kentucky baseball players are able to make it to the big stage these days. A lot of D1 players are on this field tonight.
They are. So
and proving their worth with that.
If you're a travel ball coach, what tournaments do you got to go see? What areas, what ballparks do you feel like, hey, you got to go try it once?
All right, this is a loaded question because I'm also an owner of Athletix Sports.
I understand that. I get that. And listen, we love our E-Town sports park,
so
right?
Obviously, we have the contract to run most of the tournaments at E-Town, so I can't.
We love that place.
And with the turf, obviously at one point people joked and said it's the rainout capital of the world. We really pushed hard with the city to get the turf.
Yep.
Now that we have the turf infields, last summer we did not lose one game, which is crazy if you think about that. So obviously, in this area, that's the premier park.
E-Town's unbelievable.
If you go north, it's Grand Park. Obviously, there's 30-ish fields.
We'll be going to Grand Park for the first time here in a couple weeks, so we're excited about that.
It's a great place. No denying that. It's spread out, so be ready to walk and have your little
wagon.
The wagon,
the wagon with you.
Typical.
Stuffed overflow wagon.
But if you're going that direction, that's the way to go. Obviously Lake Point is
Lake Point
pinnacle for as you get a little bit older, there's not much youth baseball there because once the summer turns, it goes all high school age. So
Gotcha.
14 and up, I would say Lake Point, which is mostly PBR stuff. JT could obviously tell you more about that.
Okay.
Obviously in Florida, you've got the U-Trip complex down there in Space Coast.
Right.
My team went there last year on invite, and that's a great place. I don't know what park PG's using down there now, but
yeah.
it's Fort Myers somewhere.
Okay.
Jupiter, in this area, in my opinion, it's E-Town and Grand Park by far.
Agreed.
I really can't come up with anything that even competes with those two.
Agreed. And what is important? Listen, so this is one of the questions we get all the time from our listeners. When I'm trying to pick a travel ball organization, right? I'm trying out, and we've seen it. We've had kids come to our tryouts, and we know that we're trying out for 5, 6 other teams. What's the important thing you should be looking for as a parent?
Well, obviously quality coaching, and this is it's one of the tough things about our industry. When you go south to Florida, most of those guys are paid dudes. They're the academy.
When you're
style.
talking the coaches for those teams,
right? I mean, Florida, Texas, a lot of the big baseball states, California, Arizona.
Right.
There's a lot of what they call academy style baseball. So they're hired guns, which is obviously the optimal scenario. We would all love that if that could exist, but it's just not mathematically possible, especially in our region.
Right.
We have to have dads step up. We do,
right.
And people that say daddy ball, then you're just looking at one part of the equation. Without the daddy ball, meaning dads to coach, there is no travel ball in Kentucky.
You're right.
It's that
100%. Right.
And there are those of us that understand, how to avoid the pitfalls of looking and being that coach that everybody
totally
calls
agree.
daddy ball. So if anybody that just says that, it's like putting a blanket over something and just assuming everything's the same, and that's just not true.
Right.
Quality coaching, I think it's important. Are they developing kids? Are they not overusing kids' arms?
Yep.
Which is my number one thing. And not everybody's perfect.
Nope.
Let's be honest. We've all made the mistake. You're in the middle of the game. You went maybe 5 or 10 too many, but there's people going 30 too many.
Hey, we see it every weekend.
Like March and April, it's 42 degrees, and we got a kid that's 10 going to 115. I mean, that's just nuts.
And not only are they pitching 115, they pitched 50 with their middle school team on Wednesday.
True. Facts.
So it's one of those things where it's really gotten out of hand there.
Parents have to stand up for themselves on that topic because if not, your kid's going to be in surgery, and that's the last thing you want is his career to end before he gets a chance to play in a game like this right here.
Oh, unbelievable.
You know what I'm saying?
This atmosphere, and I tell you what, St. X has stepped up tonight.
Yep.
I mean, they have
been. Boys are ready.
The bats have been on fire.
Yep.
It's a long game, though. Long game, guys.
It is. But I tell you, they've been, and if anybody's got the firepower to come back on St. X, it would be Trinity.
They swing it well over there.
They certainly do. So, Aaron, let's talk about St. X a little bit.
Sure.
What's your role here?
So, Director of Player Development, Baseball Operations. I do honestly a myriad of things. It's helping you guys, make sure that our guests that want to do things like this at ball games. I'm just the point of contact because Coach Port is he's a full-time teacher.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Our coach is a elite level math teacher at St. X and has been for a long time.
I'm a 98 graduate, had him in math, did not do well in his class. So I can tell you.
Keyword was elite math.
You're very right.
But, he's a teacher by day, so he spends, he gets here at 7 o'clock and he doesn't leave until practice or games are over. So tonight his day's going to go from 7 to 8, probably 9 o'clock times he wraps everything up. So I'm just helping him fill in the gaps. So if it's working with guys like you to make sure we're getting good coverage of our guys, working with our older players that are like sophomores and up on recruiting opportunities, just trying to make phone calls on behalf of their parents. Andy does a lot of that too. People are used to calling him.
Sure.
I'm just trying to add to that and just be another resource for that. So, there's other things too.
What about that middle school kid who's interested in
Sure, that's my job. My job is to make sure the parents understand what we're all about.
Okay.
Primarily, I make sure they understand what we're about academically. Baseball ends for all of us. Sports ends for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
And just like with my two kids, I let them choose. I went to Male. I'm a Male graduate. I'm a Bulldog Hall of Fame there. So I love.
There you go.
I love my purple and gold.
That's
love my purple and gold. But
I'm a Crimson guy.
there you go. So we got a little rivalry over here. So that. I tell kids, if you're not comfortable where you go to school, it's going to be a long journey.
Right.
So that's the number one thing I say. And it's not about just St. X versus Trinity or Male or Manual, Ballard, whoever, Eastern. It's not about that. It's really about the kid needs to pick a place where he can be comfortable, because you're going to spend a lot of time in that school.
You are.
Again, just like Coach Porter, I know what Tom Tice, my son, is a freshman here playing JV for St. X, and he gets here every morning at 7:30.
Right.
There are many nights he comes home to do homework if he didn't have time to get it done here at 9:30.
Right.
So you better love the place you pick, is what my point is.
Yeah, amen.
Yep.
That's a really good point.
And academics is it's king. Both of my kids have been really good students. The older one was more of the honors kid, but everybody has different kids that are different pace on academics. But
I totally agree.
you need a good academic background, because when baseball ends, what do you have to fall back on?
Man, that's so interesting you say that. James just said the same thing.
Yep.
He's like, hey, look, at PBR, we push academics first because, look, baseball is going to end at some point.
Look, not only that, but I don't know if JT talked about this, but there's more money on the academic side than there is on the athletic side.
Oh,
He
yeah.
won as 11.7 to divide amongst 20 whatever it is. I can't remember how many they can give it to, like 27, 28. And maybe 35 on the roster, 11.7 divided by that. You can do the quick math. You're lucky if you're getting a quarter.
Anything.
A quarter's a lot, but if you do well academically, you can
fill the gaps.
you can fill. Yeah,
Well,
you can make it a lot more bearable.
I played college golf, and I was blown away. I was getting more than the baseball players were, and it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, why? Like the star,
must have been good.
The star shortstop, I'm getting more of scholarship than you are.
All right, Tiger Woods.
Well,
Right.
no, I'm saying I would say that's a norm. It's just wow. Look at this, putting it on him.
Let's go. Sorry, I gotta.
Hey, you're okay. You're allowed to
I'm
be
on that side
one-sided here.
tonight. Sorry,
So
a little excited.
7. Well, what is it? 7-0.
6, I believe.
6-0.
I think we got scratch 2 there.
7 hits.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Ty Stark. I mean, I know you touched on him a minute
We
ago.
did.
This kid has been amazing this year. The growth. I had an older son that played varsity at St. X last year. He was a starting second baseman, Braxton.
Yep.
So I got to see Ty come up, and I wasn't on the staff, so I was in the stands like a dad, just
Right.
being observant. But as a coach, you watch.
Sure.
And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. He wasn't spinning it like he is tonight. He's using both sides of the plate this year. He's obviously long
His
levered.
curveball is wicked.
Oh, his curveball's wicked, especially on a left-hander. I mean, I was a left-hand hitter. I hated guys like that. It's like it starts like a foot behind you and ends up on the outside corner. But he's been spinning it real well, and he's locating well. And being a lefty like that, that a lot of schools like that, because blowing by, you're not going to blow it by a team like this anyway.
No.
You're just not.
Doesn't matter
either
what
of these
you're
two
throwing.
teams.
Nope.
You could throw velo at these two teams all day, and you're probably, unless that guy's just super, super electric, you're not going to beat a team
I
like
agree.
this by
Just throwing it
throwing
past him.
velo.
Yep.
Not doing it. So, I think what he's been most effective tonight is he's just like he's been doing all year. I mean, I don't know, you've got his ERA. It's something crazy, right? Like
it's-
0.96 or something.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And it's, obviously I don't want to say much about this game. I don't want to put
Don't
the
want to
ultimate
jinx
jinx
it,
on him, but he's looking just as good again tonight. So
yeah,
Ty's got some big news coming, just so you'll know.
a big news. So
Yes.
that's coming tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow is what I'm told. Yep.
Yeah,
big news.
his ERA is actually .97.
Awesome.
He's got, let's see,
Strikeout to walk ratio is crazy.
47 strikeouts on the season and 13
walks. Yeah.
So he's committing tomorrow,
He
or
is.
is he signing?
He's committing. He can't
Committing.
sign yet. Yeah, he's committing tomorrow.
Do we know who?
I do.
Do we know who the contenders are?
That's gonna go
Yeah,
foul.
it's going to go a little bit foul.
Turning left.
Well hit, though. Boy, Jardina's
came to play.
Man, that's 2 he's almost hit.
Yeah,
out
he's coming to play tonight. But he is committing. It's a power 5. I'll tell you that.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
There's your little. That's a big deal.
So what did we see on the list there, Rick? So I know Notre Dame was one of them.
Notre Dame, U of L, and Georgia Tech.
Oh, that doesn't help us.
He's been getting.
That's all
I'll tell you,
Power
he's gotten calls from Ohio State. I think he's had a couple calls like TCU or Texas, like some Texas schools. So he has options.
Well,
Put it that.
you can't teach 6'6".
No.
I mean,
And the left side.
right? And the left-handed pitcher, you can't teach that frame.
Right.
I tell you, we were interested to see Osting start, and boy, it was. Rick said it was a quick hook, and it was. But that's the thing. And if you look at these two teams, St. X certainly is deeper pitching. I don't think there's any argument there. Okay. Now, Trinity may have a little bit more pop in the bats, at least at the top of the lineup, maybe. But that depends on the night, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see what comes out of this region and see what happens come state time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, this game's, I guess, what you call bragging rights.
Right,
But this,
right.
you have to stay grounded. No matter which side you're on, you got to stay grounded and stay humble and realize that at the end of the day, obviously, if we can finish this out, we'll be happy tonight. whether you do or don't, it's not going to change your season. You still got the chance to do the ultimate goal of winning a state championship.
Well, both these teams can certainly pull that off. Let's talk a little bit more about St. X, Aaron.
Sure.
So what makes St. X so listen, so I'm a 98 grad, so I can talk about it as well, but what makes St. X so special?
I tell you what I've learned a lot is being in the school more, because I'd never been in the school as a parent, because you can't just walk into the school and start walking down the halls.
Right.
But with the role I have now, I spend a few days a week in the school, either early in the morning or in the afternoon. And I tell you, I can't talk about other schools. I can only talk about this school.
Yeah, I
That's
understand.
what I've witnessed.
Sure.
The teacher interaction, we have a new administration. There's a new principal and a new president here. And I wasn't around for the old administration, so I can't compare. But I can tell you that these two folks I'm talking about, Ms. Sample, our principal, and Mr. Kalistra, our president, they are very committed to I hate saying usher into a new age, but the world changes, and if you don't change with the world, whether it's baseball, our marriage, managing our children,
everything,
you have to understand that the world changes. And I think St. Xavier right now is acutely aware that there's some things they could have done better to really attract students outside of just being, okay, we're a strong academic score, we're really good at football or baseball, but really connecting with students. And again, I can't harp on enough, your education is the ultimate grounder for you. That's what you've got when you leave. And I can say as a parent, and now somebody who's in the school a lot, I'm very proud of what we produce there. Again, I can't talk about other schools because I don't know. But I can say that my older son, who decided not to play baseball in college, he got an elite level business school scholarship to Miami, Ohio, which is not a just roughshod school when it comes to business. And I truly believe that a lot of it had to do with him being an athlete here, and also elite. His honors academic prowess that he had from St. X. And obviously the campus is amazing. This is a division.
Yeah, like you said, you're going to spend a lot of time here. There's a lot worse places to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very clean
incredible
campus. It's obviously the turf facilities.
Amazing.
Locker rooms on campus, and we're really proud of that. Most of our teams, except for I think golf, which you can't play golf here, but
but you have a nice little golf facility.
we have a golf
there.
facility, the Musselman Center, right? But kids. What I love about when that school ends, when I'm here at the end, I see football players headed to the weight room. I see track kids going out. I see soccer kids. Here comes the cross team, and our guys interact with their schoolmates outside of just classroom, and that's something you can't just. It's organic.
Yeah, it is.
But having everything here on campus, especially our baseball field's a big deal to us.
Yeah, it's pretty special, man. Special place, special people.
Yeah,
It's a special brotherhood.
Top of six.
Top of the six. Yeah, so we're getting close here.
Corbin worked the wall.
Okay, yeah. Ooh. Matt Klein up to bat. Matt's dangerous at bat right now. Coach Arnold has not been happy this entire game. He's been upset about something the entire game, but the Rock's got to get this bat going. So, Aaron, if I'm a middle school kid, right, so 7th, 8th grade, and I am dead set I want to play baseball, either at a St. X, Trinity, Male, Eastern Ballard, wherever, what should I do if St. X on my radar?
The Catholic schools offer shadowing, so you got to shadow. And we tell kids when they come here, you can't, unless, some kids, their dad went here, so it's kind of already,
it's already
called that. It's done. The kids already locked in on what dad did, but not always.
Not always.
But I care about, and I really mean this. I care about kids and their happiness. And if I say that, it's my job to make sure they understand that you have to see things. You can't just go buy a car and look at one car and buy the car. You really need to see things. And one thing I do love about our archdiocese and these Catholic high schools is they offer shadowing at every single, both boys and girls.
Right.
And same thing if you have a female athlete, send them to shadow Sacred Heart, Assumption, Mercy, Pres, whatever, Holy Cross, whichever one. Same thing goes for the guys. Take a look at different options. See if you're comfortable, and if you're comfortable and you think it's a good fit, then that's probably that's kind of the gut check answer for you.
Understood. So you can come and you can just get a full feel. You can come for the entire day. So what's that look like? So if I shadow at St. X, what's the day look like?
Usually they show up between 8 and 8:15. We do a school tour, and then depending on if they're interested in the sport, there might be some other things. Depends on what their interest level is and whatnot. But at that point, they also go on with the student. They're paired 1-to-1. Okay. So if a 8th grader comes in, he'll be paired with usually a freshman or sophomore.
Okay, and that could be somebody you know.
You can request. Yeah, you can request. If you know Joe Smith, whoever Joe Smith is, and you want to shadow Joe Smith.
I want a baseball player.
Yeah, or we typically do that anyway. Yeah, that's kind of natural for us to pair
I want a
athletes
football
with
player.
athletes. Yeah. Typically that we try to do that, but you spend about you go to lunch, which guys you'd be shocked. I mean, when both schools, I've heard kids leave, they're like, "I love the lunch."
I know.
Like,
I know.
The lunch.
I've heard
it's
that.
like,
That was the first thing my daughter said. She's an 8th grader, and she shadowed over at Assumption.
they're just not used to the cafeteria. Yeah, that new cafeteria at Assumption is phenomenal, by the way. I've been in it, but I told my kids, like, don't go to Shadow Day and come home and tell me you like the buff chicken wrap. Like,
right.
that's not what we're looking for here.
Right.
Give me something with a little more teeth to it. But they obviously do that, and they enjoy that because that's when the guys kind of get to be themselves and not just be listening to a teacher. But our classrooms are very interactive, so when the guys walk around, they have a lanyard on, so all the older guys know they're shadows. So they're like, "Hey, Shadow, what's up, Shadow?"
Gotcha.
And the
All
guys
right.
kind of like it, and the older guys like it because it's a way to interact with these young middle school guys. But then they leave it. They're done by 1:30, so that it's not even a full school day really. 'Cause
Okay.
we got to get them out before we dismiss the holy chaos in the parking lot.
Yep.
So,
No, not enough.
Fly to left field
it's like he's
from
camped under it.
Nice play. Well, I tell you what, the Tigers have looked good tonight. Talk to me about this.
Not so much last night, fellas. We were a little sloppy on defense
So
last
JT
night.
was telling us it's the curse of number one, right?
It is.
So every time they put the team number one, they
it's like, we see that in college basketball all the time.
Oh, we do.
And high school baseball's, probably way more susceptible to fluid. That's a good word. But
So, do any of these kids on the current St. X roster have a major league future, or have the potential to have a major league future?
obviously Gregor, the Louisville commit, a sophomore, he's already getting that kind of conversation.
Where did he come up travel ball wise?
Vipers.
He was a
played
Vipers player?
kid, and then he was now on Canes National. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he's actually swinging it well too. I mean, he's been he's obviously
batting fourth, isn't
committed to Louisville mostly as a pitcher, but he's been a great two-way guy for us this year. So he's been he's obviously got the build.
Okay.
Sometimes
Yep.
it starts with the frame, and
Right.
obviously if you look over there,
Right.
he's plenty big for a sophomore.
Yep.
Man, I don't want to say it right now because we're in the middle of the game, but there's a guy that's been pitching for us that's spinning it really, really
Yep.
well and starting to look like, with another year under his belt, man, who knows?
He's got a chance.
I mean, with a Power 5 multiple offers, and you're going to make that commitment, that at least is that next, usually draft picks don't come from, D2 or D3. They do later, but not.
Yeah.
I'm saying if a guy's got a D2 or D3 offer, usually, is he going to get it? Nope. Going to get that one.
Yes. Looks like
Gonna get
Trinity
on the
will get
board.
on the board here. Might be an in the Parker.
No,
I don't think
he's
so.
holding him up.
Gonna hold him up.
Triple.
Six
Triple,
on.
though. Aiden Ecken.
Well,
But yeah, there's
Got the monkey off the back there.
talk about Sweeney for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So Trey Sweeney that played here at St. X, 2018 I think was his grad year when it was 18 or 17, I can't remember. But regardless of what year he graduated, he had no Division I offers
None.
in the state of
That's right.
Kentucky.
None. Yeah.
Zero.
Yep.
Went to Eastern Illinois. He did have a Bellarmine offer, but that was when Bellarmine was D2.
Okay.
He goes to Eastern Illinois. He's freshman of the year in the conference.
Right.
And then it was just like from the next 2 years, his frame got bigger, his exit velo went off the charts, and 20th pick overall to the New York Yankees last year.
Pretty crazy.
It's not too shabby.
The Yankees.
Yeah.
The
The
Yankees.
Yankees.
Not too shabby.
Not the Staten Island Yankees.
Right.
That might be where he is right now, but
He doesn't have to play ever to go tell your kid. Yeah, I got drafted by the
By the
first round.
Yankees.
Yeah.
It's just, that's so cool, man.
his family was here last night for alumni night, and his brother, who also played here, and his dad actually. I played against Sweeney's dad in high school when I was at Male. His dad was playing for St. X, and it's a very athletic family, so I'm not surprised.
Right.
Sure.
But if you look at how he finished here at St. X, it's just a great testament to continuing to work hard because you just don't know.
Yeah.
Kids develop it so, and I tell that to the young parents out there because we got a lot of travel ball parents. Don't be a train wreck because your kid's batting seventh when he's 9.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. There's a lot of kids on this field that batted seventh when they were 9, and they're starting in a game like
Isn't
this.
that the truth?
Yes. It's people get too, they get too hot and cold, or they see this big old donkey come up at 10 and hit jacks, and everybody gets giddy. But if he can't run to first base by the time he's 14,
Right.
it's not going to matter. And I'm not trying to hate on that kid. I'm just
No,
saying
but you're right.
we're talking about progressions, evolutions of kids, and I've seen so many kids get to high school that were nobodies. I mean, Ty Stark's a great example. He didn't, he's played in his dad's RBI Bulls program.
Right.
He was a good baseball player.
Right.
now I'm telling you he's a Power 5 baseball player, and I think there's a
ceiling's
chance.
as big as much as it
The
gets.
ceiling is big.
Yeah.
Really big, really high. So obviously, parents don't put so much pressure on your kids when they're young. It's just a game, and if they don't enjoy it, they're not going to finish. Their career's going to finish early, and you don't want to be the reason of that.
Well,
Yeah.
these kids put a lot of pressure on themselves,
yeah.
honestly.
Social media, parents, kids,
Oh, my God. I'm
coaches.
at ninth.
Yeah. I'm playing outfield.
I'm playing
Right.
field.
Yeah, there's a guy from
Yeah.
Trinity playing center field could get drafted this year, by the way. So outfield
yeah.
is not a
Oh, yeah.
curse.
It is
It's not
not.
it's not a end of the bench type of thing. There's a lot of great outfielders making a lot of money in the MLB.
Oh yeah. So talk to me a little bit about right now you got you coming up in the Vipers or the Sting or whatever RBI Bulls or the Wolves, whatever it may be. But then it seems like you get into high school, these elite guys get into the Canes Nationals and get into these other kind of regional type teams. Do you have to do that from the exposure standpoint?
Man, there's so many ways to answer questions like that. So, there's a lot of great players out here that didn't come. Somebody like this program's more elite than this program. I don't believe that because I think it depends on what age you're talking about, first of all. So
Okay.
there's elite teams, and then, you have some programs that have more elite teams. But at
Right.
the end of the day, the quality experience, the quality coaching, the quality development is more important to me than making sure we're on this program or that program. Now, a lot of kids go chase the national programs.
Okay.
Gregor's an example of that. Corbin
Okay.
Dickerson's an
Hey,
example of
he
that.
is, right.
Played for, I think, Tri-State Arsenal. I can't remember who he's playing for last year, but he did a lot of USA baseball stuff.
Yep.
And some kids should chase
Well,
that.
and Dalen Lyle last
Dalen
year
Lyle.
played on the Canes
Canes
National.
right. And for some kids, we're talking a very small percentage. That's something to chase, and they need to chase that showcase circuit for the elite player. But I don't. It's not the only way to be an elite high school baseball player. My son started second base. My older son last year for St. X. He was a good, solid player. Great defensive second baseman.
Right.
Made very few errors. Didn't hit it as well as some of these guys on the field, but he made his way to start at second base, and his career's over, and he's happy. He's happy, and he was never on the elite Sting team that we had. Matter of fact, we had an elite Sting team that had Bo Coffin and Nick
Okay.
Thompson that pitched
Yeah,
for Trinity that's
yeah.
at Bellarmine last year,
Yeah.
and
Stud pitcher.
Bryce Saylor. I mean, we're talking about, we had some, Dalen was on that team.
Okay,
We
okay.
had some dog, Ethan Hodge, who played
Yeah,
for Trinity last year,
yeah.
that was at Trinity.
Yeah.
And now he's at Xavier.
Yep.
So we had some dogs on that team. And, he because I was running the program, I could have put him on that team.
Sure.
But that's not good for him.
Right.
It wasn't good for his development.
Right.
So I ask y'all to just, your kid doesn't have to be on the most elite team or most elite program to be a successful baseball player.
Right.
It's that simple.
And I always think, even just time on the field, no matter what league or whatever level you're playing at, you're getting time on the field.
Yes.
You're getting better.
Yes.
If you go
That's
play-
most important. And that's why I didn't put my son on that team, because he would have been buried. He'd been buried. Yeah, okay, great. My son's on the elite Sting team that's nationally ranked, and he's he's batting
Batting 187.
whatever. And he's only got 10 at bats in 5 weekends. That doesn't do your kid any good. So make sure that when you put your kid on a travel team, that he's getting to play, and that's important. And I'm not saying just because he's not, leave the team. That's not, because we see a lot of that in travel ball. We see a lot of team jumping. Looks like Andy's going to make a change here.
It does, man. So
Good effort by Scott Stark there.
Chase Armstrong just had a nice single. 6-2 now.
Half Stark was dealing tonight. Good
Well,
job.
what did he give up? Does that say 2 hits, guys? 2 hits.
2
2 hits, 2 runs.
Tigers made 2 errors.
Who are we going to bring in here, Aaron?
Looks like we're going to Quentin Shoemaker, the lefty. Center commit. Quality D3 program. If you haven't seen their new field at center, wow. That's a nice campus in a nice little town,
It's
Danville.
always been a nice campus. They got a nice
But this field,
facility.
What a school, though, man.
They had somebody give
Unbelievable
a ton of money to the Athletics, and they built, I don't know exactly, but if you just look it up on, the baseball field looks like this one here, and obviously at that level, D3, you don't always see that.
yeah.
No, you see some
Yeah,
scrappy,
This looks a lot better than a
Yeah.
lot of D3s.
a lot of D2s.
Yeah, right.
school. Any idea what Quentin's travel ball background was?
Quentin, here's the beautiful story about this guy. He's been hurt for 2 years. So
Okay.
he did not play varsity last year because he was injured. He did not play varsity as a sophomore and had little to no JV time
Okay.
because he's had 2 injuries back-to-back years. I can't remember. I hate that I don't know this, but he had a really, really good summer.
Right.
And we've said, like, this guy could be a secret weapon for us. And
Yeah.
I'm not sharing things. It's not crazy because hopefully we'll see it right here. But
Right.
and but he's a left side. Obviously, he's got good run on his ball, and He wouldn't be committed to center if he was, they've obviously taken a chance on a guy that's been hurt, but they saw him in the summer last year.
Okay,
and they were pretty impressed. Yep.
Awesome.
Probably see, I'd say low to mid 80s, probably 80, 84, somewhere in there for his fastball.
Now, do all these guys go do different things from an instruction standpoint? Do they all kind of see different guys, or is that something you guys try to handle within the program?
Yeah, I think it's almost impossible for travel ball programs to handle that internally. We're struggling just to even get coaches,
Yeah.
We're happy when we get a coach for every single one of our teams. That's where our focus starts. We have to produce teams and then coaches to coach these teams, and that's obviously super important to us first. But, a lot of us say, player development, it's harder. It's easier said than done.
Right.
Because kids, especially that play on school teams, as they get older, we have very little time with them in the travel. I mean, you really come, like my son Tice, he'll start on that Sting national team coached by Aaron Beard. He'll start June 6th, and there's 5-6 straight weekends, and that's their summer ball at that age. That's it. It's
okay.
So we all get used to the grind of March, crappy weather, baseball, and then April it gets a little better. Then all of a sudden it goes back to 30 degrees.
Right.
We get in that grind, and all of a sudden it just stops at 14U or 15U.
Okay.
And it goes to that 5-6 week window. So you can imagine you can develop some kids in the fall and maybe some in the winter. But at that point, once they get to these high school teams, you can't go work with your travel ball team. You can't play for both, for one. So, but you see what I'm saying? The window tightens.
Makes sense.
Now, at the younger ages, I think the development happens within the coaching staff, but development is important. When I used to coach that national Sting team, we would take the field, or I could see the teams and parents looking at us like, these guys, how are they ranked? They don't really look ranked. They don't look ranked, whatever that means.
Okay.
When you walk into the park and you see a team, you're like, wow, that's impressive.
It's like the first guy you want off the bus type thing, right?
Put the big guy off the bus. We weren't that team.
Right.
But what we were was a team that really worked on the fundamentals and practiced. We practiced more than we played.
Okay.
And I think that's really important. And people get lost because every weekend parents want to go chase the trophies and tweet on whatever in Facebook, my kid hit a home run, and they get caught up in that. It's easy. That's what I'm saying about the travel ball.
We're 50-12.
Yeah, we're 50-12. We outscored our opponents this weekend 72-4. We got the 1 seed and we won the tournament.
Look at my ring.
It's easy to get caught up in that, but what we forget is really, I tell my kids, the best thing you'll ever do in your life is to wear your high school jersey. I really believe that.
I agree with you 100%.
There's nothing better than going to school all day, whatever that is, Tigers, Bulldogs, Bruins, I don't care, Rams.
Yeah.
There you go, plug for your school.
There you go.
DuPont, baby. And then coming out on a field and tonight wearing Tigers or Shamrocks or Trinity or X. There's nothing better in life, guys. You have... These kids think this is pressure, but they don't realize the pressure comes with marriage. Pressure comes with having children. Pressure comes with keeping a job. This is fun, guys. This is so...
Yep.
Guys, safe.
Wow.
Swinging bunt.
Nice play.
Marks?
Nice play by third and first. Just a lot of speed there.
Not enough time, That guy's quick. He's an upcoming junior for us. We're going to see a lot more out of him. He's not committed, and this summer will probably be where he starts to get some looks. This guy right here coming to bat's a sophomore. He played on my original Sting team, so I got to tout him right now. Ryan Camelo. He was on that team when we were 6U. And
look at him.
Really,
he's not very big.
He's 2 for 2 today.
Little guy.
He is a little guy.
He's only a sophomore, so.
Where's he playing position-wise? Oh.
Yeah, he's DHing today, but he's a catcher.
Okay, gotcha.
Jake Bennett will obviously go on next year. He's going to San Jack, JUCO.
Yeah, talk about a kid that's built, man.
Oh, man. That dude he's swole.
Yeah,
or
he's
yoked.
a big kid.
The young guys call it yoked.
Yeah, yoked. That's right.
Got to use the cool terminology, but I go back to the development thing. Parents, I can't impress upon you enough that your kid's development is way more important than how many home runs they hit at 10. Them getting quality experiences at quality parks with quality coaching against quality competition and succeeding and failing. Yep. Failure is the greatest teacher on earth. Those of us that are older wish we knew what we knew when we were young and realized that failure is part of life, especially in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I don't play golf, guys.
Well, I tell you, it's the hardest game in the world. I can tell you that.
Since you've mentioned how great you were, I can tell you how terrible I am.
I don't know that I'm not saying how great I was, but
you played it in college.
I did play it in college.
I don't even play it on Saturdays because I'm that bad.
I played it professionally a little bit, and I tell you, it's a grind, man. But you've got to have some mental toughness because you're out there on your own. A lot like being a pitcher. You've got to be able to step up there and throw a strike when you have to. Well, it's the same thing in golf. You've got to be able to.
Shot.
Oh, yeah. You got to be able to just have an indifference on where the ball goes.
Strike all day.
crowd's getting a little rowdy.
They are, man. He's right, though. That ball was pretty low. I don't know that I disagree with what he's saying.
That's a help. Full count.
Evan Beckman on the mound.
Sophomore, I believe.
Yep.
I played against his dad in high school. His dad, Ricky Beckman, played at Trinity.
Yeah,
when I was at him.
Ricky's a good dude.
Yep.
Involved in
Travel ball.
CSAA athletics.
And travel ball.
And travel
Coaches
ball.
for the
That's right.
Legends.
That's right. He is a Legends coach.
I don't know if he still is, but he was.
Nice hustle over there to the fence. Again, as the sun's going down, I mean, the weather, the temperature is absolutely perfect. It just doesn't get much better than that.
What I've been impressed by the other student body for both schools. Like you can't really see over there, but
Wrapped
there's a whole
around the fence.
Yeah, they're wrapping around the fence in the outfield. I think we got a bunch of Senex football players over here. I saw a bunch of Trinity athletes down the right field line. So guys, that's so much of what it's all about. How cool is that?
So walking in, my son noticed the numbers with the names. We saw Tyke Brown and the White Sox and kind of all the guys that have been drafted through the years. I don't know whose idea that was, but that was genius.
It was actually Al Burks, one of our
Chris Burke's
there's a
dad.
famous name in town called Burke. Yeah, that was the father who actually coached here. I've learned a lot about. I mean, I knew about him because I knew he was Chris's dad, and he coached him at St. Matthews and Little League and all that
His
stuff.
son on there, right?
That's what it was, probably.
Yeah, Daddy Ball. Daddy Ball. No, Al and Paul, Chris, and Al.
Great family.
They're just great. They're great Saints. When you say like a quality Saints family, they've done so many great things, obviously on and off the field. And that was Al's idea. He told the school he would like to donate them, and he deserves the credit for it.
Pretty cool.
Andy and I have worked on trying to place banners. We've got our state championships out there. That's new this year. We really wanted to, show a little more pride in that. So those numbers are pretty big, guys.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, they are pretty big, but I tell you, I don't know that even I realized there was 8. I mean, that makes sense having them out there.
Yeah, 3 of the last 7 because remember there was no winner in 2020
That's right.
due to COVID.
That's right.
So something we're proud of. The interesting thing that I have. See if he can. Oh, he's safe. Great bunt by Ben Brunig. Bases loaded, no outs. Tigers are knocking at the door again.
That was a great call by Porta.
Yes.
I love that call.
He likes the small ball. Andy does like
I'm
it.
a big fan
Me
of
too.
small ball.
Me too,
I
Coach.
love it.
Me too,
I call
Coach.
it all the time. We got a lot of speed on our particular travel ball team, and I just love it, man.
Speed
I
kills.
love using it.
Yeah, we used that team. I told you we weren't big, but we would do stuff like that right there. And I don't know what it is, but pitchers struggle fielding that play.
Oh, they hate it. They hate it.
It's such a setting their feet and depending on whether they're a lefty or righty, like him being a lefty and turning your shoulder and
that ball just
sails out of your hand. Yeah, that was a lefty, so that's probably exactly what happened there because it pulled him off the bag to the infield side.
Aaron,
the guy on third, he got on with a bunt too.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bunt punt.
Swinging bunt.
That was swinging bunt.
Swinging bunt.
Yeah.
We got no out.
Short game here.
Well, I tell you, when Trinity started to put a couple runs up on the board,
umpire's not
he's
going to
give it to him, is he? Wow, interesting.
That's twice tonight he hasn't given time, but it's umpire's discretion. What were you asking me? Sorry.
On the way over here, Rick had mentioned something that some freshmen in JV games were canceled because of lack of umpire.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. I've heard a Cal Mel game this year. Earlier, the teams showed up, and at least we knew they weren't coming. But I heard at a Cal Mel freshman JV combo that just nobody even showed. So it's a shame. Obviously since I run a travel ball company, Athletic Sports Group, we're dealing with it. It's a real problem, guys.
Yeah.
It's a real problem for multiple reasons, and I'll give you my theory on it.
Please.
I think one is COVID. I think it changed the world in many ways, and people, maybe used to see that as a way to make a living, and COVID changed our priorities.
Right.
I think you guys would agree. All of our priorities changed, and we looked in the mirror and said, you know what? Some people said, I want to spend more time at home, or I want to spend more time with my spouse or kids, or I want to spend more time at baseball doing this or that, or maybe some of those umpires have kids now. I think a lot disappeared due to COVID, and I think obviously that's a hit. That's going to get 2. Yep.
Not 1.
Yep, 2 short and left. 7-2. The other problem is abuse from fans, and obviously You've seen plenty of stories on videos.
I've seen it. We dealt with it this past weekend. I told some fans to calm down because they were abusing a kid or they were wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's tough.
I tell you, as a travel ball coach, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I never had a problem with it because I set the tone with my parents. And if you're a travel ball coach out there, they need to know that there's one person that's allowed to speak to officials, and it's the head coach. And we were told that at every plate meeting. So it is a rule. I will speak to you.
That's right.
If the umpire is good.
That's right.
He says, I will speak to you, sir, and you're the only one I'm going to talk to. Please keep your fans
that's right.
not unruly, whatever the word is.
Yep.
Keep them at bay. So if your fans are not, then as a travel ball coach, that's on you. It's on you. And either you have the wrong families involved in your program, and sometimes it's hard. You know what? You're like, you know what? I could cut loose with this parent, but I sure can't cut loose with this kid's bat.
Right.
Okay, where are our priorities?
Right.
Are we gonna drown our organization or my team that I've built a great reputation because I want to keep one kid's bat in the lineup?
Great point. It's a great point.
You got to look in the mirror and make that tough decision.
Yeah, we've seen it. We're like, Coach, you know, watch. He's like, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's not. Then that's the problem.
There's the problem.
We have seen it. You know, we've been lucky. We've got really great families on our team. But I tell you, we've seen. Turn here. Nice play. Oh gosh. Nice play by Klein.
On the base. Yep.
We've seen it where we've played some teams, and it's crazy how much the fans are on the umpires. And who wants to go get just screamed at like that for an entire day? I mean, I understand why there's a shortage, but it's crazy even at the high school level.
Yeah. And how's it going to help you? You think it's going to benefit you yelling at? I mean,
it
blows my mind.
I think it's one of those things that, you know, we'll kind of yin-yang, and we'll have a shortage for a bit here, and then it'll kind of, you know, everything keeps changing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a long-term problem, but it's a real problem today, this season. So, yeah, if we're seeing it at the high school level on weeknights.
Yeah. Right. The weekends are got to be ridiculous.
Yeah, weekends I can understand a little bit because you got guys that do KHSAA and they might do some 13U or 12U on a weekend to make some extra money. But But if there's a high school game, they get I don't know for sure, but I would assume they get paid a little more for the high school game than probably the 13U game at E-Town. So there's a little bit of that jockeying for umpires.
We've run into a lot of games with just one umpire.
Yeah, tons.
Yeah. Well, we all know how that goes. That's impossible for the guy behind the plate.
Really, we've always seen him do it behind the mound,
which is even worse in my opinion.
It is even worse.
Yeah, I would if I had a choice, I'd say put the one guy behind the plate, just to call the balls and strikes more.
Right, at least get that right.
Because your plays at the bags, there might be 2 or 3 close ones all game, maybe.
Yeah.
If you thought about this game, you'd say, all right, 3, 4, maybe we're having a guy at a bag that's going to get a tag.
Yeah,
did a job there.
Another run.
Ooh, going to second
third?
and third. Safe.
Why did he throw that at the third?
He had no chance at home, but second he had a more realistic chance.
He had no shot at third.
Could have gotten the third out at second maybe before he crossed it home, but.
Was that Osteen out there? I think it was. Yeah, it is Osteen. Interesting. Yeah, not sure why you throw down to third though. Yeah.
Well, Jake Bennett, this guy's been swinging a massive stick for us. It hasn't shown necessarily today, but
I mean, this kid.
I don't know how many home runs. Does it say how many home runs he has on the year?
Yeah,
like 6.
We've got
he had a great. His first at bat was a great at bat. He took 2 home run swings, then he choked up and put one through went through the hole.
Send this game into another level.
He's got 7 home runs on the season, which is the most in the game.
Yeah, he's really worked hard, and something I'm going to brag on this guy for a minute. Last year. I'll be honest, and I know his family well enough to know that they're okay with this. He wasn't the greatest teammate. And this, we talk about development.
How so?
A little bit of meism, you know, and I think it's easy for kids to get giddy over their velo number. And, we got our PBR guys and PG guys, and they serve a purpose. They're here to put that in front of us, but it's what we do with that information. Uh-oh, is that going to turn? It's turning.
Yeah,
it's turning.
To the left.
Got the distance.
Oh, it was out of here. Oh, look out.
We call him Prime. You can see
you guys see it on his face right now.
Prime, look at him.
I tell you what, and we tell our kids this past weekend, go up there with some swagger, right?
Yep.
Go up there with some moxie.
He's not short of that.
He is not
Maybe
short
last
of that.
year, going back to the previous part of the conversation, a little too much.
Yeah.
We're here. We're a team. We're St. Xavier, okay? So we're whatever travel ball team you play for. And you can't be bigger than the team. If you want to be that guy, to me, my team's the wrong team for you. But this guy's really become a great teammate. And it starts with parents and adults helping them understand and recognize
100%.
that you can be a better person if you're just be a bull.
There's another.
I love his 2-strike approach.
Well, now what we love now is he's going to choke up, and he's going to make sure
he's going
he
to Joey
makes.
Votto this ball.
Yep, he's going to make sure he makes content
he
this
toes
point.
that line,
Look
he
at the
gets up
look,
on the
look at that.
He's filling in the crowd.
I love it. It's like he's a major leaguer, man. I love
no
that
problem
about
with the
him.
moxie, but
I love it
but let's
about
be just as good or better of a teammate than you are, at that. And he has this year, and I've put extra time of mine in on him. The kid's got. You talked about draft in the future. He's going to San Jack. It's one of the top 10 JUCO programs in Houston, Texas. He will no doubt end up back in D1, no doubt. And he's got some. He wants to be Power 5. So he's fixed a lot of those flaws, if you want to call them.
What's the benefit of going JUCO?
Yeah, I agree.
Man, it's a hot trend right now. Well, COVID caused that a little bit because of the rostering problem.
They've still got players for
We've
8
still got. We
years.
got. I read the other day there's a guy getting ready to take on his 7th year in college athletics. Like, what are we doing?
7 years.
What are we doing?
Golly.
So we got to wait till rosters fill out. Kind of trickle down.
Level
But what
off.
it helped JUCO ball.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why, because Louisville doesn't have a lot of spots right now.
Sure.
Because they had trickle down from COVID rostering.
Right.
And it so happened they had some guys come back for their senior year, which at Louisville's not been common lately.
Not
Very
common at
few
all.
seniors on Louisville's roster. Juniors are getting drafted every year. So at the Power 5 level, that's your problem. So then that trickles down. If there's less Power 5 offers, whoa.
Ooh, great catch by Klein there.
Great play by Klein. You see what I'm saying? It trickles down to D2 level, then it goes to D3. So we got the over-rostering problem. So JUCO was the benefit of that. So kids that may have been D1 that maybe didn't want to go D2, there's a lot of great JUCO programs out there. Wabash Valley, I'll talk about one of our former players. He actually played in our Sting organization, Bo Kaufman.
Yeah.
He had the Tommy John
and
playing for the Legends in the summer. He was going to be a senior during COVID and was not going to pitch that year for St. X.
Right.
He was going to play shortstop, but they were not going to pitch him to be safe. That year got banged, so he had no senior year to even prove himself to D1 teams. And then, obviously that's it. That's the end of his career. It ended with an injury and COVID. So he went the JUCO route to Wabash Valley.
Okay.
And he was there last year, and he's performing really well right now. And he's now going to Charlotte, who made the NCAA tournament last year.
There you go.
Charlotte's an up-and-coming program, and he's going to be an elite. Oh, I can't see it, guys. Oh, it's out.
Yeah.
Over the dugout.
Yeah, it's over the dugout.
Lost it in the sky. But anyway,
So these D1s are they picking from JUCO more than they're picking from D2? Or,
I would say a lot that want to make their way back to D1,
which makes sense.
That's the avenue.
You're a little bit more mature. You know what you're getting. It's
and you can only play there 1 year too. You don't have to stay there both years.
No transfer rule. Okay.
You can go there 1 year and 2 years, and a lot of guys are finding that to be their
Play
their
away
funnel.
the next year.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Well, it's been a good at bat. Let's see what happens here.
Finishes. Ooh, man, that was right down the gut.
What do you think? This is like 8th, 9th pitch that he's seen?
That's a lot.
And here's another thing I'm bragging on him because I'm really proud of him. His approach with 2 strikes last year was garbage. It was come out of the shoes. Oh, it was come out of the shoes. The swing you see early in his counts.
Okay.
That was every count.
Okay.
It didn't matter.
I'm so impressed with this 2 strikes.
Oh,
and he's short.
And
look, he's got the Joey Votto. Look at him. He's got the choke up. He's got the same.
Look at where his feet
His
are.
toes are on
He's
the
on the
line.
white line.
Yeah.
He's going to do everything he can to put a ball in play here.
Yep.
He fights another one off. Unreal at bat.
Now, the more you foul this off, the more you got to think this is an advantage to the hitter, right?
I think.
It's gotta be.
And the pitcher's like, come on, man, really?
All right. What is it going to take to put this guy
What are
away?
we doing here, right? What are we doing?
We are 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2
I've
outs.
thrown every pitch I got.
Yeah, this has got to be, number 9 maybe? 8, 9, 10?
Gotta be.
A lot of pitches.
Nope, not going to give it. Get in the box. He's going to throw the pitch. Better get in the box.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Is that a ball?
Umpire's got to be a little more demonstrative there.
What is that?
I guess he offered time. He gave him the time, but he didn't. He didn't. He's supposed to put his hands up.
Oh, he did give it to him.
He did, obviously, because he didn't call that a ball or a strike.
I think it was high. It looked like
this is interesting.
Looked like a ball.
This is a fun moment in this game.
Yeah.
Get the crowd charged and
Get 2 more runs in here.
Well, I mean, listen, a hit here, it's ball game, right?
Yeah, well, Trinity can hit. Ball up.
Little high. What a bat. What a that bat.
Yeah, I remember.
Phenomenal.
I think Kentucky got up in Louisville. Sorry, I'm a Louisville fan, so maybe
as are we.
Once in the last 12 years or something, they got a really big lead in Lexington, and they were bunting like 12-1, and Coach Mingione said it's Louisville baseball. It's never over. And as you can see this season with Louisville, a lot of good bats like this.
Yeah. Good pitch.
Yep. I guess he got a tip, but catcher made a nice play.
Good pitch.
Yeah, I was watching that Louisville game last
All
night.
right, guys, do you mind if I go back to the dugout?
All right, Aaron, thank you so
Yes.
much, man. We
Thank you
appreciate
for having me.
Listen, it's getting heated. This is great. Thank you. All right, Rick, we're going to do this last one by ourselves. We're at the top of the 7th. It is an 8-2 St. X lead.
Last chance.
Last chance. You got Louisville commit Jake Schweitzer up the bat.
And then it rolls to the top of the lineup, right?
Then it rolls to the top of the lineup.
Well,
Again,
they could make it interesting.
well, and like Aaron said, this one's all about bragging rights, right? So the one that matters is the one that's, your regional championship game. If, listen, both these teams can get beat by Mail. Mail's got 2 great arms.
Dude.
So, either one of those teams could lose there. But, if they do see each other in the regional finals, that's going to be a special one.
Yeah, there's a lot of good baseball in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, it's getting rowdy here behind us. But what an awesome atmosphere, right?
I love it. I love it. It should get rowdy.
It should get rowdy. You're right. This is what makes this rivalry
Even though it's
special.
even though this game, really doesn't mean much,
It's
still
bragging
important.
rights.
It's still super important.
It's
to
bragging rights.
Yeah. We're all familiar with the St. X Trinity football, rivalry. This is for baseball. This is it for a good run. Ooh, tough call.
What do you make of the run before you know if it's a ball or strike, Rick?
So, I get it,
We got a couple that do it.
but from an umpire standpoint, I'm like, get back in here.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't call that.
Anything close, I'm ringing you up.
Yeah, I
like
kind
you're
of
trying to
feel
show
like
me up,
I kind of feel like that doesn't do you a whole lot of good,
I don't
right?
think it does. But I also don't like standing there and looking back like, oh, was it a ball or strike?
Right. Yeah.
You kind of know, and you get a bad call every once in a while, but I guess there's no way around it. But if I'm the umpire, I'm like, get back in here.
Yeah, I don't love it as a coach. I'd rather them, wait and then go.
Now I'm okay. You start that way, and you hear them call strike and get right back. Don't be like, what? That was 4 feet outside.
Right.
Take your helmet on and be like, what? I couldn't hit that.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
You definitely can't do that.
Hey, while we got a chance here, I do want to give everybody a drill idea that's worked really well for us. So we've been indoor a lot this year because of rain. It seems like it's rained on our practice night more often than not. And we've done this thing with 2 nets and 2 pitching mounds where we play horse, but we play it on a pitching. So we split our team up into 2. And then one guy throws a pitch, might be a 2-seam, might be a 4-seam fastball, might be a changeup, might be a curveball, whatever it is. Well, if they throw it in the strike zone, so they throw it in the net, well, the guy on the mound has to match it or they get a letter. Yeah. And so that team gets a letter. Our team loves it. They ask to play it every time now. So certainly a drill you might want to try if you want to have some fun. It's in a good pitching drill.
And we even had some kids call, top right corner or bottom left.
Calling positions.
Calling spots.
So, if you need a pitching drill or you need something fun and you're indoors and you have a couple mounds and a couple nets, certainly a drill to try.
Yeah, it's fun for them.
Corbin Dickerson strikes out. Can't love that for the Rocks. That'll do it. St. X 8, Trinity 2. Thank you for listening. We hope you got some information. We hope you get something out of this one. We will hopefully be back, if not next week, within 2 weeks. Thank you once again to our sponsors, Guardian Baseball. Rick, that was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us, St. X. It was an interesting game. It was a good game, but St. X come out on top this time. See what they do later.
Awesome. All right, take care, guys.